But we had to niche down first, and we're creating a model that can basically predict everything. And I'm very excited to roll that out with the partnership that's going to roll out soon. And it's just been a little bit of a secret, but yeah, just sports for now.
Well, that's why you come to MCG, right? To spill secrets. Let's by the way, that's a fascinating thought here. That maybe there's even outside of just the prediction business and the gambling business, if you will, like there's even valuable. These analytics are valuable to the teams themselves, and they might have maybe hire someone new or have someone that just goes through these analytics solely and tries to optimize based on those. And like that's not even something that I thought about remotely. So it's really interesting that you guys are exploring that. How much interest have you gotten in that?
We've gotten a lot of interest from people that don't run a team. We've gotten a lot of interest from like our users saying, "Hey, you should do this," and we're like, "Yeah, we should," but we don't have time. Yeah, I mean, not really like much institutional interest from like leagues or team owners or anything yet, because we haven't done the work to, I think, shop it around. If we choose to shop it around, it has to be like profitable for us, and it has to be kind of worth our time. It's something very interesting that I think, especially that could help shape the future of sports, and I've always wondered about that since I was a kid. So.
And real quick, Josh, I saw you had something, so just bear with me here. And is this something anyone else has explored, or are you guys pretty much the first people that you know of that are attempting to do something like this?
In terms of the sports, or
I guess like are you creating a new market here? Is this like a blue ocean in terms of, hey, no one's really tried to do this, and that's where we see things like some of the most successful enterprises, business monopolies in the world kind of explore blue oceans and areas that have never really been explored in the past. Is there someone that's done the AI analytics and sold these to teams, and has this been done before? Would you guys be basically exploring this for the first time?
I think it is blue ocean. Yeah, I don't think it's red ocean. I think it's fairly new. We're trailblazers here, and we're looking to move forward as fast and as hard as we can.
Almost like prediction markets themselves, right? It was a brand new thing, emerging market here, and it came to be a very good opportunity for you guys. This is maybe a similar vertical, it seems.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to pivot to the model itself in the market here, because we know prediction markets, like any market, is a zero-sum game. Value is created by someone losing value on the other side of the quote-unquote trade. How do you keep, and this is more just like general thoughts on how you think about this, but like, how do you keep your models and IP? Because it seems like if you're not using Rainmaker, you're basically losing to Rainmaker users, is what I'm kind of vibing at here. Like, obviously prediction markets and betting is such a massive market that there's so much liquidity out there that this is probably fine now. But like, if you get some sort of institution that takes your model and pumps $1 billion into it, like, do they take all the winnings? Like, how do you think about, is it just Rainmaker users that will only ever get access to this? Maybe talk about, like, yeah, I don't know if I described, it's not really a question, more just getting your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for sure. And we have our biggest partnership coming up with a sports site. I'll just say that. In terms of our retail launch, because we haven't launched on retail quite yet. We've been testing with our users the past week and doing the soft launch. But here's the thing: you're onto something, Josh, because what we're doing is Rainmaker models and AI and the features that we engineer are not going to war against other users on Polymarket or other users on Kalshi. They're going to war against Susquehanna House, which is the market maker that makes the prices. So what our models do is they're back tested on meticulous data for months and months. And when you can, form a log loss over that much data, and it's that meticulous, and so the nuances are there for each team within a league, within a sport, we actually exploit inefficiencies in the market maker itself. So the market maker uses AI, the market maker uses algorithms. That's how they determine the price immediately, instantaneously, whenever a field goal is kicked, whenever it doinks off of the freaking right side of the uprights, whenever there's a fumble, whenever there's an offensive lineman that flinches and they get a false start, right? The market maker has every single scenario for all of these games covered, and they've had them covered since the 80s. It's the market maker, and we're able to exploit the inefficiency there because they're not perfect. Just like we'll never be perfect as an AI modeling system, they'll never be perfect. They can approximate it, but there are those times when it slips up, and then that's when our model steps in. So right now, because we're going to battle against the market maker itself and not the majority of users that are just too slow and spilled their beer at the game because the field goal is wrong, and then they're going to go to Kalshi 20 seconds later and sell their position, we're going to war against something that's automated, something that is not human, and something that has intelligence that is incredibly fast. There is so much liquidity there because they set the liquidity. And when they set the liquidity wrong, based on who they think will win, the team that they think will win, that's what we exploit, and then that's where we step in and we make them lose. So as long as we don't get to the point where Rainmaker users are basically winning too much, I think we can fly under the radar, but we'll be able to fit as much as that liquidity can handle without the game starting to erode and the liquidity starting to erode. Yeah, I feel like I went down a rabbit hole, bro.
No, this is like the crux of, I think, the conversation here. So this partnership with a sports site, like, is that not going down the road of kind of diluting the liquidity? That is, there's only so much market inefficiency you can take out of this.
Well,
Is the pie so big?
And they don't want, I mean, you guys winning would essentially mean the house or the bookie in some case like loses, right? So they integrate your product. Wouldn't they technically want you guys to be losers?
100%. So here's the thing. With this integration that I'm talking about, it's for our coverage feature, which is like a double hedge feature, which offers users insurance. So if you lose a bet and you manually place it, it allows you to recover some of your losses. Because what we were looking at here is like, it's never fun when the AI loses. It does lose sometimes, and it's like how, even though it's profitable over a month, users are impatient, and in order to design a product that will scale, that people will be comfortable with, we have to kind of create something that is the opposite of leverage. So before you give yourself more exposure, how do you give yourself some sort of protection? So that's what we're talking about here. First of all, would be like the sports thing. But yes, you're completely right. We have to do scaling in a balanced way and a balanced approach so that we don't tip the market in the wrong way, because we don't want too many people using the Rainmaker product, or else the edge starts to slip away and our users don't earn as much. But we have two different models. We have a turbo model, and then we have like a boring model. We've nicknamed it internally in the community. The boring model has been very consistent, and that's the one that will average users around 15% per month, right? But the model buys in like the 60 to 80% range, like in terms of price. So if a team has a 60 to 80% chance of winning, that's where this boring model looks. And it's boring because you make less profit, but it's more consistent, and it's just kind of like every other day I make a trade, and end of the week you should be profitable. There's way more liquidity, millions of dollars available in that range, because most people that are betting manually are going to still bet in the 60 to 80 cent range. A lot of people will bet in the 90-cent range and upwards. We have then a turbo model, which will fit way less liquidity and way far fewer users into it. That one's reserved for our highest holders that hold at least 3 million rand, because we obviously can't fit everyone at, I think I bought something for 4 cents last night. But if that 4 cents were to take profit at 40 cents, you'd be up plus 900%. So we obviously can't fit everyone in there, because the market maker is actually overpricing that 4 cents. Susquehanna, they're overpricing that 4 cents. That team doesn't have a 4% chance of winning. They have more so like a 1.5 to 2% chance of winning. So we're buying overpriced odds when we buy that low. So if we were to try and fit a whole lot of liquidity in there, a whole lot of users in there, the liquidity won't fit it in, and the price will slip from 4 cents to probably 12 cents or 15 cents. That is still fine if you can fit 1,000 users in there, but we're not going to fit 100,000 users in there. By the time that we fit 100,000 users in there with liquidity being so low, it wouldn't be profitable, because we'd be taking profit at 40, but you would have bought at 40 by that time. So we're limiting it to like our highest tier of ownership, so that we can protect profits and keep the edge there for those users that have been willing to make the sacrifice to buy the ring, believe in the ring. And for the boring model, we can of course fit 10,000 users in there. So
yeah, see, the boring model is interesting, because there are lots of firms, funds, smart money, whatever you want to call, who are interested. I mean, they would love 15% monthly yield. The only thing is it's gambling ultimately, and also maybe hasn't been proven out for years and years and years. How interested are like, have you guys had conversations with firms and funds that are looking to maybe use the boring model for these more secure, I guess as safe as you can maybe be with sports betting odds? Like, is there interest coming from them? Is this purely retail right now?
this is purely from our crypto community currently. We've had people reach out, like advisors that advise. Reach out and say that they have some funds that are interested, but of course those funds need you to prove it out for at least 6 months, and that's a long time. So we're in the era of AI, and that's not to mean that AI is magic or anything, but if you're able to actually use the plethora of information that is available to us now, and you'll look back on 2026 like it was a gold mine and it was a gold rush in the 1800s in California. Who's selling the shovels and who's actually doing the digging though? that's like the difference here. And I feel like we're doing a little bit of both. So I think the information is there and quite available to run 10 different instances of AIs to help you backtest in a way that you've never backtested before. If you're a data scientist or have a machine learning background like me, all the PhDs I know are using AI to get some sort of advantage when they're forming their new models, and it's way more advantageous to do so if you're a machine learning researcher. So having that benefit us and our team, we've actually been able to sidestep what the institutions are used to in terms of loving to have 15% yield or profit, and actually get wild gains here. We're obviously going to have to prove ourselves over a long time, but I'm confident that we can reach that that threshold to being profitable long time for our users, as long as we don't disrespect the liquidity that we've been given, and we accept it for what it is, and we fit our users in, and we ensure that they're profitable enough based on how much they've spent on it.
Yeah, something we have conversations about on the show is we've talked about defense tech, and certain emerging markets are trading at premiums right now, right? Defense tech being one of them. AI, you could possibly say. I would say prediction markets are probably also trading at a premium at the moment. When you guys think of raising funds, VC money, mergers, acquisitions, like where are your thoughts like that? Are you guys looking to raise? Are you guys good for cash? Are you bootstrapped? Maybe like tell me all about that, please.
Yeah, so we've been approached, like literally a VC just asked for our deck and is trying to schedule a meeting during this call. I'm like, shut up, dude. I'm on a cool show.
MCG.
Yeah,
Here's the deck. Forget the deck. You can do due diligence right here.
Yeah, what do you need a deck for? Just tune in.
Exactly. Yeah, dude, my thoughts, right? But yeah, we've gotten a lot of interest from the VC side, and yeah, I mean, interesting people like music managers that I know from the music industry are trying to invest, and they manage like famous music artists like Ice Spice and stuff like that, and just people from the music industry are trying to get their hands on this in an interesting, weird twist.
Ice Spice X Rain.
Why? Like,
hey,
yeah, why?
hey,
Is it because they have the
rain,
audience?
man.
Okay, yeah. Sexy red rainmaker soon. Get it sexy.
That might be bad for us. Yeah.
Credibility gone.
So yeah, we've had interest there, but we were really bootstrapped by our I would say our creator fees have helped a lot, and just like the supply, I think probably 12% of our supply is locked for 3 months, and then we begin to like take tiny bits of that where no one will notice, but it'll feed the team, make sure the team is good and operational, make sure the servers are sweating, and make sure the GPUs are sweating and the models are doing what they need to.
We just had a conversation with Mateus from Moby, and we talked about the difference in tokens, right? You have two sides of the bucket, right? You have the store of value tokens, you have the tokens that have network effects, like layer 1s and layer 2s, and you kind of have a different bucket, which are like consumer apps, product like yours, which we're seeing different token models maybe work a little bit better for, like equity models or some sort of ownership models. How are you guys thinking about the token currently? To justify and maybe even grow the valuation Rain is sitting at right now. Curious your thoughts there, because you also have an integration here where you say, well, this is a product that we can't have a million users using, or else you get diminishing returns, right? So it is gated, and like the token is valuable in the sense where, hey, if you want the product and if you want access to it, you do have to hold a lot of tokens, and you have to stake those or lock them away, whatever it might be. So just curious how you think about tokens in general. Is it a mix between maybe equity and utility? Is it solely utility? Is it like curious where your thoughts are, because the buckets, people are definitely dipping into the buckets now and putting standards on what tokens need to look like.
Yeah. You ever see that dude in that interview in that meme, and he's just like doing like he's like crying, and it's like everyone's like, Dad, where were you when like this happened? And that's what's going to happen with a lot of these ICMs, not a lot, but a few of these ICM companies, and Rain is hopefully going to be one of them. Definitely going to be one of them. In 30 years, people will look back and be like, I wish I would have just, believed in a company that was trying to make progress and gave me unique exposure into their company early through their token.
Can you talk about what that exposure looks like?
Yeah, I think it's ICM. I think it's the ability to gain early exposure into a company. Like, we started off as an AI copy trader. Now we're here. There's a credit card on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's like we've just been pivoting, niching down as much as we can to constantly return value to our users and our holders as much as we can. And I think the future of companies like your show, like Moby, like us with Rain, are dying for the chance to prove that they and we deserve to operate on a level of something that has done an IPO in a couple years. If we can keep moving to unicorn status within a couple years, so that your token is a unicorn token, that's our dream. So we're working on the everything model right now, and just picture that you could have exists in the world and think of what that entails. That is what we're training right now. We have a unique partnership with it. So as the sports model is limited because of liquidity, the everything model won't be in terms of reach and user that would appeal to in terms of the applications, and the partnership that we're looking at will service to billions of requests per day. I'll just leave it there. It's something we're working on right now very diligently, but it's completely different from the sports model. So I see the token gaining people exposure to something like this before it happens, before we come out with it. And then we start getting looked at not just as a token, but as a unicorn startup, and people realize, hey, maybe I don't do a safe, maybe I do a token, because look at these 3 or 4 unicorns that popped up from ICM over the last 2 years. That's what we want.
So you're building, sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I would say I directionally agree with you here, of course, Rainey, and I think you're absolutely on it. One of the challenges we've seen with this is you look at the Padre and other examples. It's like, let's say someone comes to you with $100 million. Hey, Rainey, love what you built. Here's $100 million to give me the IP. They kind of do their thing, gate it, and say this is just for us to use privately. And then the token holders are kind of like wondering, like, where's the liquidity event for us? And not to kind of force you into any sort of question here, but like, how do you think about just the ownership component to it? Like, so the token holders, is it just like it'll only be the RAIN token ever? You get $100 million offer and you'd be like, nah, go buy the RAIN token. Like, what would you say to token holders that kind of speak to Padres and the other examples of the world?
Yeah. So another thing we're looking at is growing the RAIN token outside of itself. We just had the migration, right? We're looking at acquiring other tokens. We're looking at growing so that the RAIN umbrella is quite literally that, an umbrella. So with a future migration, let's say in a year, we could actually merge 10 to 15 different tokens that we acquired into one super token, and kind of redefine the company and its foundations. We're forming like an offshore company right now with our legal. So yeah, I'll cap it at that, but we definitely have our eyes on the future and how to make it more of an investment instead of I just hold the token and it doesn't really do anything other than go up in value. Hey investor, you should just buy 100 mil worth of RAIN. It'll be more complex than that for sure. I agree with you. And we're definitely trying to prepare for the future. We're looking at acquiring companies, acquiring tokens at smaller market caps. We're looking at structuring the offshore company so that the offshore foundations, LabsCo can foundations and the LabsCo can operate in a way to where we can accept VC funding. We can have our own kind of not IPO, but if we wanted it, we could in a sense do that. I don't think we do that. We're looking at something completely different, and I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, I hope I answered some of your questions. If I didn't, let me know. I'll try again.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about some of these other products because, like you said, you started as a meme coin trading agent, went to prediction markets, partnered with MoonPay, migrated to Pump Fun. Now you have
had a Believe side quest, which blew up. The Believe portion of that blew up. So
yeah, but what's like, talk to me about the Neo card. What else are you guys building outside of just the, I guess you could call it the core product? You said you want to build an ecosystem here, which is important to you. I'm assuming the token will be a key feature of all of these, is what it sounds like. Can you tell us about what else you're working on?
Yeah. So think if there was a Neo currency that powered a good majority of people here in maybe the US or Europe, Asia, Africa. Just think if there was a new kind of currency that enabled people to autonomously earn. We're shifting to AI automation actually becoming real. We've been hearing about it for like 20 years now. The shift is actually happening, and I think a lot more people are going to start coming on chain looking for their next check. And I think that in a world where Elon's trying to advocate for universal high income instead of even universal basic income, something like this Neo card is needed, because we're building a whole ecosystem where you can earn without lifting a finger. You have to have the initial investment though. That's the kicker. But you can also spend anonymously, and we've partnered with a couple of companies to help do that. MoonPay funds the Rainmaker accounts and our wallets, but Radar.fund shields transactions to where you can't link the funds on chain. You can see how much the amount is, but it's impossible using ZK proofs to link who actually funded the card, who actually funded the Rainmaker account. That obviously has a huge implication for taxes and things like that. And it's not illegal, but it's definitely a gray area. And I think we'll start to see some regulations around it, but we hope to stay ahead and stay on the edge. So what
shout out Radar too. They're a good show.
I was gonna say good friends of the show, and a lot of people are starting to use their technology.
Yeah,
Do you have like I'm seeing it a lot. A lot of
What's
people we
the
get
alpha
on.
there with Radar? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Radar is awesome. We actually entered their hackathon, and we've been kind of like homies ever since. And they reached out. They were like, "You should use it. Like, we'd love to." And we worked it, built it into. It's fun to
All right. What's
Here
up,
we
guys?
are.
We're back. Special segment today, the bags segment. We've had a lot to say about bags. A lot to say. You know, their model, it's interesting. It's giving people money that they didn't necessarily ask for. Some devs are grateful, take it and run, adopt it. Other devs just leave. Today, I think we got a couple that have stuck with it. Now, who knows if they're going to stick with it for the long term, but that's for us to find out here, I guess. But should be really interesting. It's going to be a fun conversation. A lot of excitement around bags right now. We got some really cool guests coming on. And pretty shortly, actually, we're starting right at 12, I think. Right, Josh?
Yep, start at noon with GRU. So yeah, we can I do want to pull up some charts of these bags app projects in a minute, but maybe why don't we just touch on a few market moving news pieces after, just peeking at this here. Gotta love the stream creative just stepping up there. That looks great.
I like it, man. I do actually. I really like the bags a lot. So super cool. We got grew at 12, and credit to our in-house graphic designer. Our out-of-house graphic designer is out for the moment for maybe reasons I won't disclose. But our in-house graphic designer, Josh, who's sitting right under me, managed to do this one. And it looks really good.
Josh GPT.
Yeah. No, but we got grew at 12 p.m. With Zach, who's a very prominent developer. We'll see what he has to offer us today. We got Huggy coming right after that. Guys, remember, we got a lot of backlash for Huggy. Remember, we originally made this announcement with just Huggy, and people came on and said, why are you giving them a platform, blah, blah. Not sure. Maybe they've stuck with it again. Not the arbiters of truth here. We're going to let you guys decide what you think. So we got Jason coming on from Huggy. Then we got CPT. This is going to be slowing down the pace a little bit, I think. We're going to talk a bit about the new
Products and engineering.
Products, engineering.
Yeah.
Josh, I'll just let Josh kind of rock it out here. And then after that, we wrap it up with GSD, get shit done. Kind of, I think, the biggest one of the day with Lex. So that should be cool. We're gonna have a fun conversation. In the meantime, do you want to look at some charts first?
Yeah, let's do some quick charts. Obviously, Bitcoin super volatile this morning, and just seeing like announcements, crypto bill coming soon, 2K stimmy checks without congressional approval, Greenland non-military force. Like, this is whipsawing the market here.
As we've become accustomed to, I think, over the last couple months, right? So, I mean, it's just like, it is exhausting. It is exhausting, Josh. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, here you go. You can see Bitcoin was up, I think, at 1.2% or so. Look, even 2.7%, and quickly again down another 2.7%. So it's just been like that all day. Again, coming off of a very slow period right here where we had, I'll call it 60 days of just sideways consolidation over the holidays and weekends. And so we're back. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I would just say the best thing you can do is sit on your hands in times like this, because the truth is nobody knows what's coming next. And that's kind of what you get with Donald Trump here. So sit on your hands, let it play out.
Jones Rita had a good tweet. 1/3 size, just don't take as many trades, basically, is the TLDR.
Yeah. Size down.
With that, I mean, why don't we, because we have 5 minutes here, Dom. So if you want to run through some charts, let's do it.
All right. We can top it off with Gru. Okay, up 65% on the day. So actually bouncing a little bit up to 838K market cap. So that's a good little bounce. Yesterday was at just 300. I remember looking at it and checking. We have like a minimum on the show of 500 that we've talked about, 500K, just because we know we tend to attract some volatility, and we don't want to pump and dump anything just by having someone on the show. So I was looking at that. Of course, there's exceptions when things are hot like bags will kind of dip down, but this is nice up to 836K. It's pumped up quite a little bit here, a good 100%. So we'll talk to them today, see what maybe they've done recently to garner some of this excitement. Outside of that, we have Huggy, right? Huggy next, which is HUGGI, I believe. This one is down 40%. So pretty much the opposite. This is down to a 90K market cap. So this one is maybe going to be very volatile. It is sitting pretty much at the dead floor here. Very low market cap. Again, back when we had them coming on, it was a significant bit higher. So we'll call it, yeah. I mean, it was probably even above a million market cap. So again, these things happen quick. So when we booked it, it was quite a bit higher, but we'll see. 90K market cap. Maybe they got something to offer. Maybe we have the opportunity of a lifetime here. Outside of that, we have GSD coming on after that. We have CPT, of course. You guys are more familiar. GSD has been catching some bids as well. We're looking pretty solid here, and it's bounced again in the last day from $2 to nearly $4 million, up to 5 at one point. So looking good. Again, a lot of exciting conversations today to be had. Josh, do you want to just jump right into it here?
Yeah, we have Zach in the waiting room here, so we'll give him 1 minute just to get established. But yeah, I think I'm gonna throw up his X profile because again, we've been focused on the ICM or Internet Capital Markets ecosystem. This is all the Believe launch pads, all the Meteora launch pads, anything on Meteora that's launching and using DBC, we've basically covered it at this point. What I really like about Bags, and I'll tell you what I like about Bags and what I don't like about Bags. What I like about Bags is that individual creators can come in and have an incentive to make the mental leap into using a token-based business model, right? There is a financial incentive to go do that. We covered this yesterday in a clip with Profit as well on our timeline. However, we do think that there needs to be some sort of holder protections here, right? If you take the money, there is some expectation on the other side of that. It's not nothing in life is charity unless it explicitly is a charity. But in this sense, we'd like to see people who are building things. Now, Zach here has a really interesting profile, worked serving ETH holders, which I got to ask him, the ETH Solana dynamic here, done a bunch in privacy, co-founded Code Arena, which actually is a notable, I believe, security protocol, kind of like an open security protocol that anyone can kind of, do penetration testing and whatnot on certain things. And then Slingshot, which was a big product, consumer crypto product. So with that, we'll pull up Zach here and get into some of this background because I think it's interesting. Zach, what is up?
Yo, what up, lads?
Dude, excited to get you on here, man. This is probably been a pretty exciting few days for you recently, huh?
Yeah, never a dull day in crypto,
That's the truth. Oh, here we go with gloving. You got to give us something real quick.
Is that miming or what do you do?
I don't fucking know. I just bought them for people in the office for Christmas because I thought it'd be funny. I'm not actually doing this shit.
No, that's jokes. That's jokes. I was actually with somebody this weekend and we were talking about gloving as a joke. It's pretty funny, but
yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah, gloving. Really, John, what's gloving?
Gloving, he had the
the gloves have lights in them and you dance with your fingers and shit. I don't know. I'm not actually into that. I'm just fucking with you.
Look, it's okay if you are, Zach. But you've come into the light here with what's been dubbed as the meme coin venture capital by Matt Levine, or whatever you want to call it. How have you responded to this bag situation? Obviously, someone launched a coin for you. Maybe you walk us through the history here.
Yeah, so I just write open source software and put it out there, and I've been doing that for a long time. And I've been building a lot of tools for myself that I need. And a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm just going to start open sourcing these tools. I don't know if anyone's going to like them or if they'll be useful at all, but so I started putting some stuff out a few weeks ago, and the first tool I put out was Adversarial Spec, and that's like a Claude plugin that allows you to write product specifications and tech specs pretty simply, by leveraging multiple models to kind of argue about the spec, and that did pretty well. So then the next week I was like, all right, I'm going to put this out because I've been using Claude a lot. So I built this tool that allows me to orchestrate multiple agents on my machine. I have a server in the back at the office, and I was like, all right, it'd be cool because like everyone on the team uses Claude now. So I've been building these tools to kind of like help us with our workflows and just open sourcing them. And Friday comes along, Friday morning, not really super exciting day. I just tweet it, see how the community responds. And then I immediately get like these responses that are like, oh bro, claim blah, 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 claim this and that. And I'm like, the fuck is this spam? Cause like, I get spam all the time. So kind of ignored it, but then I was getting a shit ton of DMs. And like, oh, claim this, claim that, claim it here on bags. I'd never heard of it before. Had no idea what any of this was. Not even a Solana guy. And I like looked into it and it was like $4,000 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. And my friend was here at the office and he's like kind of in Solana stuff too. And he was like, oh man, you should just claim that. It's like free money. And I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. Okay. I claimed it. And then next thing I know, I'm essentially beholden to a community of Sol degens in the trenches. And I pretty much had like past 4 days, something like that, has been a crash course in Solana trench warfare. And it's been pretty interesting and exciting. Granted, I've been around for a while. I did a lot of the Ethereum stuff. I did like DeFi Summer, ran that. Seems like Solana is kind of like running back a lot of the stuff that we were doing like 5 years ago on ETH. But all of the DeFi energy from Ethereum seems to have gone to Solana, which is kind of a bummer for me as an ETH maxi. But I'm like open.
You can't still be an ETH maxi after this, right?
I mean, I love Ethereum for sure. Yeah, of course I am.
You're an ETH maxi, but you have a Solana token.
Of course.
Can't call it a maxi though.
Well, I didn't launch that token. I wouldn't have ever thought about launching the token. It's kind of like forced on me. I mean, like, I'm not complaining about it. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's like a really sweet experiment in like open source software development and like funding open source software, because that's like a big problem that I have personally been thinking about for like a while, with like platforms like Gitcoin and like all of the public good funding and stuff like that. So I've always been interested in how can we marry like the degen components in a way that actually benefits developers as opposed to just being like value extractive kind of like zero sum PvP games. Granted, I don't think that Bags FM solves that necessarily, just like having seen the responses from some of the people that just claim their allocation or whatever and then just kind of deuced. There's like peace, see you guys later. So I still think that model needs a little bit more refinement. I'm not really sure like what the solution is, but I think it's pretty cool step in that direction.
Yeah, I think the most compelling thing or the compelling argument I've heard about Bags is the funding for open source software, where, like you said, typically it's so hard to get funding because, monetizing something like that, it's open source, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no like expectation of upside. When I put out open source tools, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to make money off of this. It's just more like, hey, I'm going to put this out. If it's useful, I'll get some clout or something like that, some recognition in the community as a developer.
So from this, do you have like a kind of a vision where this could head? So yeah, claim these tools or put out the tools first, claim the tokens or the fees. And now I got this token, I got this community, I have this energy around this open source software. But where does that head? Does that head into just, public goods? Is that headed into a company down the road one day? Is it you being a superstar, super developer and just like, this is kind of your thing for the rest of your life? Like, where do you see this going?
I think it might be some combination of those things. And I think it kind of varies on a case by case basis. Like there's some projects that are established that have received funding, like the NPM thing, right? Like it's not actually funding NPM. It's like funding the dude who built it. I don't know what the end game of that is going to be. I can't imagine it ending very well if it's just like he's not actually producing anything, but he's taking fees just for essentially pumping a coin and being the mascot. Doesn't seem very scalable. It doesn't really seem to solve the problem that I just outlined. It seems like more kind of like PvP speculative economics, which is cool. Down for that stuff too, but let's just call a spade and acknowledge what it is and try to move on and evolve from this and create like better models that are actually constructive and kind of, don't really enable like that zero sum game. like from the get-go, you know.
Dom, you're muted, buddy.
Oh, there we go. I want to get into Gru and what you're building here, because that's, you know, the bread and butter. And of course, we have smooth brains here. You are a developer. You have the developer brain. We're gonna need you to dumb it down for us.
Yeah,
most
for
likely.
sure. Don't worry, I'm totally retarded.
Okay, well, perfect. This is good then. First and foremost, I want to hear your take on Claude, because you mentioned you've been using Claude a lot. We've been seeing a lot of these orchestrations of multiple agents kind of working together to solve problems, or working maybe against each other. Not exactly sure how you would look at that, but I would just like to hear from your perspective, how is Claude changing coding, vibe coding, just iteration, getting things done, speed, all of that?
Yeah, so I've been using AI tools and LLMs for like since the beginning. And over the past year, it's gone from like, oh, it's pretty useful for like autocomplete with like GitHub Pilot, which just kind of helps you write code, but it can't really be assigned a task and then you like walk away and come back and it's good. But over the past couple months, Claude has like really killed it. Now I can essentially assign it a task, walk away, and come back, and it's done as well as it could be done by like a junior developer. Granted, like sometimes it'll cut corners and it'll be lazy and it'll kind of gaslight you into thinking that it did what you asked when it didn't. But it's like light years ahead of where it was, you know, a year ago or even 3 months ago. So it kind of allows me to, as a developer, to expedite my like workflow like by magnitudes. I could like 10x my output now. So in a day, I can kind of solo some sort of tool, and with minimal input, it works the way that I expected, so long as I properly define what I want it to do in like plain English and like a technical specification, which is what I use that adversarial spec plugin to do. Yeah, it's really great. It's really, I think it's going to only get better, and it's really going to change pretty much the entire industry as far as like software engineering is concerned.
You have an office there. You said all your teams working with Claude, using it. Can you tell us, is this a team specifically for these open source products you're building? Is this separate from that? Maybe help me understand.
Yeah, so we're a venture studio. So we just like build cool stuff and ship it, and it's all crypto related. So we just build different tools and platforms. So we're working on like privacy pools. We've done a ton of stuff. So at any time we're working on several projects. Pretty much just hang out in the office and ship cool stuff, come up with ideas, try to keep an eye on the market and figure out what to do. Just kind of like slopping it up with the boys.
Dude, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, whereabouts are you guys based?
We're in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice. All right.
Nice.
Cool.
I thought Josh was going to repeat.
And I'm in Toronto, so a lot of early Ethereum vibes here. I actually found Ethereum in 2015 back in the day, because there was like a huge community around
over there on Spadina or whatever, right?
That's right. Yes, yes.
I've been in Toronto. I know what's up out there. It's pretty sick.
Right. I love that. I try to remember.
It's not sick right now, but it's fucking cold, huh?
No, bro, it's snowing right now. So
let's see those nipples, man. I'll bet that hard.
He's wearing tape on him right now to keep him from nipping up.
I went golfing in Toronto last year. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
In the cold, or
Scarborough. It was in March. It was like the first day that the golf club was open, and it was.
Bro, what are you doing in Scarborough? That's what I want to know.
Right. That's where my friend is at.
All right, we'll link up next time you're in Toronto. So
let's do it.
Okay, this is cool. So we're getting into open source technology. We're getting to Claude, some of this new stuff that's being unlocked here, just insane speed. Tell us about Gru here. What's got these people so excited? Because you got people going.
Yeah, so I use like I said, I use Claude a lot, but I have to like be at my computer looking at a terminal in order to like I said, you have to like really babysit it to make sure that it's doing what you actually want to do. Because if you just tell it to do something and you walk away and you come back, there's a good chance that it's wrong and incorrect. But so that requires me to like sit here at my computer looking at the terminal, then checking the code and like checking the output. But I don't really want to like do that, right? I want to be able to kind of like work on some easy, simple tasks and tell it what to do and walk away. But the easiest way to communicate with it is through Telegram or some sort of chat using natural language. So I thought it'd be cool to have like a bot essentially that allows me to communicate with my Claude instance that's running on my machine or in the cloud or wherever I want to deploy it. And then I could just, with natural language, the same way that I would talk to somebody else on Telegram, I could just say, hey, do X, Y, and Z, like design a landing page for me using React for like a Bitcoin price tracker or something like that. And then it'll communicate with me and like it'll respond and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I have some questions. And then I just respond and tell it, oh, do it this way. Or I have like one shot mode where I could just say, hey, build this. Don't ask me any questions. Come back when it's done. Game over. And then it'll take like a few minutes and it'll essentially build whatever I ask it to do, so long as it's simple. It's not great for like super complicated tech stacks, but if you're trying to like build a landing page or work on a specific function within an existing code base, it's pretty simple. And you can just communicate with it through Telegram, the way that you would communicate with a junior developer.
And so do you have to plug something into Claude? Like obviously you have to pay for these credits, I'm assuming, or how does that work?
Yeah, so you go to Claude and you get your API key, and then you just drop it into the configuration file, like an environmental variable, and then it just communicates with Claude on your behalf. So you don't need to use the terminal. You don't need to use like the Claude UI or anything like that. You literally can just use Telegram. And then, well, also Discord and Slack. I integrated those features as well. So, and then it spawns up multiple agents depending on the task it's assigned. And each one of those agents can work on a specific task in isolation. And then they can kind of converge on it in the code base using Git work trees. And then it's good to go. So you can pretty much build whatever you want with this, like spawn a whole cluster of minions that do your bidding. And they're all different agents that are doing different things within a given task.
It's pretty mind-blowing. I just want to know from your perspective, how is this going to change workflow of the future? Is it
I mean,
look
I don't
anything
have
like it
to
looks
be
today?
at my computer. I could go to like the grocery store. I could go to a show. I could go to the bar. I could go golfing. I'd do whatever I want. Go like, you know, hang out with my friends. I'm just like communicating with it via Telegram. I don't need to be tied to a computer. Granted, you know, there's limitations. The limitations are with the models itself, but I can still do the same type of work essentially from anywhere, as long as I have a cell phone and, you know, connectivity and Telegram. It's
So we have
super
this
easy.
we have this dynamic where the models are getting rapidly very, very, very good, and you're basically doing things and walking away, right? Where, like, if you're not a developer, because right now you're a developer, so you understand what the models and the outputs are, and then how to actually turn that into something that's usable. If you're not a developer, are you also able to use GRU in the same way?
Um,
Or would
You're
you
gonna
say
have to-
there's still some,
There's a little bit of a barrier to entry because you need to, I mean, it's not really that hard though, honestly. If you need to figure out how to get an API key. That's pretty much it. And if you can use Claude, anybody can, then you should be able to do it. There should be a very minimal barrier to entry for development. Granted, like you're still going to have to understand like how Git works and all this stuff, but that's like stuff you can Google. Like it's not like super hard. You could even ask Claude to do it for you.
So that's what I'm seeing people do. They know nothing and they're like, well, hey, Claude,
Yeah.
tell me how to do this. And so it's like, well, I know nothing, but it can tell me how to do it. And so it kind of makes it really easy.
It's awesome. You can go from 0 to 1 as a developer within 6 hours. Like you can go from
Wow.
if we're talking about writing a hello world app that just like, you know, outputs hello world, which is like development 101, you could do that in 10 minutes, which probably would have taken, you know, maybe 3 hours or 6, like a day of figuring it out before. Like there's, you know, there's still like some barrier to entry because you need to understand some stuff, but if you can use the internet and you can use a computer, like you could figure it out. It's not hard.
I want to tie this back to real life because I think this is powerful. So let's say you have clients, you're an agency, you're an individual agency, like you could be doing these client projects and then just basically managing the output for the client and the relationship with the client. And so this is where it becomes real economic value. It's not just like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
cool, we're on Telegram. It's like, no, how do we help people build businesses, pay their mortgage, put food on the table with this kind of stuff? How do you see that feeding out?
I mean, let's think about like the agency model. Like if you're running like a marketing agency or something like that, you could just very simply spin up a landing page, provide some sort of product requirements or whatever the client wants that outlines the copy and says like, you know, provide the assets in a folder and the same way that you would do it now. And then you could just direct the agents to build it based on the assets that are in that folder. And it takes like 10 minutes. So that's something that you would have to have outsourced before to like a developer or a dev shop, or you'd have to figure out how to use WordPress or whatever your CRM like platform of choice is. Now you don't have to do any of that. You could just use Claude for it.
This is kind of like the holy grail of like making small business like explode, you know, in terms of solo entrepreneurs. Dom, I don't know if you want to pick up there.
No, this is fascinating. Interesting though. Obviously, you have this token now, and I'm sure you've thought about, and obviously the community is probably badgering you about this, but you're probably thinking about some way to integrate a token, make this token intrinsically valuable outside of just the memetics of it. Are you thinking about maybe going from an open source platform to a token gated platform where you have to use tokens to
definitely
get into?
Yeah,
I'm just
not really sure like what the like limitations of what I can build on Solana are. So I need to like do some more R&D there, but I think that's like a pretty natural next step in evolution and what the token does. Because I don't think that there's like much intrinsic value in just a meme coin outside of like the community and speculation, which is still pretty big, right? Like I'm not trying to underplay like, you know, that. I'm just saying that if you want it to actually scale and become something that's real, that provides utility, it needs to have like more of an integration and less of just a meme coin, right? So how can you do that? I don't know. That's what I'm going to try to figure out next. It's just a matter of understanding the technical limitations of Solana.
Well, what's unique about your situation is you're a studio. So, I mean, the end game doesn't have to be Gru. You're thinking of maybe a completely different product or suite of products surrounding this token or ecosystem?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure yet because I'm still doing the R&D. Like, keep in mind, I just got thrown into this world like 3 days ago. Like, of course, I'm not like a noob to any of this stuff. Like, I've been around. I know what blockchain is and all that, obviously. Like, I've done it for a long time. It's just kind of getting up to speed on what I can do with Solana. So right now I'm exploring Anchor and just trying to like figure out what I can build.
How has community feedback been? How has community been in general?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I like the energy. It's pretty awesome. It's like definitely a different energy than Ethereum. Seems like there's a lot more retail interest. There's just like a lot more chopping it up in the trenches kind of attitude, which I haven't really seen in Ethereum for a while. So it's refreshing. Of course, there's always like the Moon Boys, but that comes with the territory, and can't hate them, you know. So like, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Sure.
Yeah, no complaints.
Well,
I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, you better buy back the token and blah blah blah." And then I don't know. I got on a AMA last night, and they walked me through installing the FOMO app and like buying the token, and I did it all on an AMA.
Also, you accidentally deployed a new token today.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, so I was testing the token launch flow on Bags, and I like launched this stupid shit, and I was like, and then people started buying it up, and I was like, hey guys, don't do that. Not doing anything with this token. I just wanted to test the launch flow. I'm not going to like claim or anything like that. I have no plans to do anything with that token. I just wanted to see what the launch flow looked like on Bags, because I haven't ever used it from the side of deploying. So I just wanted to like,
you're not the first one. These launch pads, there was Dupe is a very large Amazon-like competitor in the AI shopping e-commerce space. They do a $200 million in GMV on their platform. The guy was accidentally playing with the Believe app, which is another launchpad deployer, created a token, and then kind of like found his way into crypto. And he's like, this platform, they would raise at like almost $1 billion valuation. And for them, doing something like that is like a no legally. And so, but they found a way to make it work in a point system or whatnot. But we've seen this on Solana. This kind of spurred what we call internet capital markets, which is the idea that real companies will use, you know, traditional legal frameworks to say, hey, maybe the token represents a bit of equity, or maybe there's some sort of ownership model here. Because on the other side, we've seen Pump Fund and others buy crypto products, and the token basically goes to zero because it's not part of the acquisition. Have you thought at all about like how the token holders and ownership works? And you don't have to specifically comment, but this is something that the space talks about.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% think that the future of markets, especially in regard to like businesses and corporations, is going to be on chain. Like there's no doubt about that in my mind. Like that's been my thesis for years. It just makes more sense because it's more capital efficient. There's always uptime and availability. Markets don't need to close. You can kind of just gamble 24/7 like you would in Vegas or something like that, but it can actually be tied to business productivity, which is really cool. I think that that's going to be the future. There's no doubt in my mind. That's what's going to happen.
What's interesting about this funding for open source products is that if someone launches a token, then you kind of have a built-in community that can go and contribute. I would imagine anyone can kind of contribute to this as they please. And then as long as you have a good steward of that token, it really becomes a community product, and you can distribute ownership if there's legal clarities, maybe, or frameworks to people that contribute and actually make this thing grow. I think that's a really fascinating angle for it.
Yeah, glad you brought that up. That's a pretty good segue into something else I wanted to talk about, and that's like contributing to open source products. So what I want to do next, and this is like pretty low hanging fruit, is just have like bounties on the GitHub repo. So if you contribute, I will pay you out in the Crew token. Boom. There you go. Contribute if you submit a pull request, and if it's accepted, then you'll be paid for providing that service and contribution to an open source product.
This is really fascinating. It's almost like an evolution of Uber for developers, right? Imagine there's 100 of these projects out there, and they're all offering, people to get paid for contributing. And I can just go on and fix problems here as a developer and get paid. That could be a whole new market. Maybe I'm thinking
that's great, because before it's like really hard to contribute to open source software because there's no real upside there. Like you're really only doing it for like to get your name on a repo, which is going to give you some sort of credibility. But inevitably what you're trying to do is like make money from like contributing and doing your job and providing value. So this kind of like lowers that barrier to entry, because me as a developer, I receive money from this platform. What am I going to do with it? I think it would be morally or ethically incorrect to just take that money and run. I don't think that's the right thing to do. Ideally, what you're doing when you're raising venture capital, and although it's crowdsourced, you still have like fiduciary responsibilities to be a steward of that capital and, put it to work. So it's not just like buying me another Tesla or something like that, right? I need to get out there and like put it to work to make the product better. And then that'll help everybody in the community, and that'll eventually make more money for me, and then money for my investors as well. I mean, I've raised plenty of money for a lot of venture-backed companies, so I know how it goes. And this shouldn't really be treated any differently, in my opinion.
Can I ask about that background? You got Slingshot Crypto, huge app, Code Arena, huge app, which I actually have a project that I was involved with used it. Like, what are these acquisitions? What's your involvement and background there?
Yeah, so I was co-founder of all those things. I helped build them. I helped design them. I was the CTO and co-founder at Slingshot. I designed a lot of the mechanisms behind Code Arena. I came up with it over the weekend, and I needed it because I needed an audit for Slingshot, and auditing takes a huge amount of like lead time, and it's like 6 months. And I really just need to get this audited so I can get my contract out next week. I can't wait 6 months. So I came up with these alternative models that provide the same value, but they're much more efficient in regard to just capital allocation or human capital, whatever. And then another project that we're working on, Number Group, is a project we incubated. It's privacy pools, and that's like a privacy protocol on Ethereum and a bunch of other chains as well. So we've raised money for that as well. That's an active project that I'm contributing and working on right now, and my team is too. So we just kind of like do this all the time. We just like come up with ideas, put together teams for them, help them raise capital, bring them from like 0 to 1 and beyond, and kind of like help them until they either prove that they have product market fit or they don't. It's kind of, it's always a gamble, right? I just keep doing it. That's why I've had like, 3-4 exits in crypto, but like, let's not talk about the number of failures I've had. I've had like, dozens and dozens of failures that have been catastrophic. I just don't put those in my Twitter bio.
Well, I would like to follow that up with asking you, what's your best advice for startup founders? Now it's easier than ever, I think, to maybe create something that is valuable or solves an issue, right? Seems like a lot of your products were even created out of necessity. What's your advice for founders or startup founders that are maybe just learning how to code and trying to start a business, make their way?
Do what you want to do. Don't do what you're passionate about, and do something that makes you feel excitement. Because as soon as you take money for it, you're going to be married to it. So if it's something that you're not entirely passionate about, it's going to fail. Doing something that you enjoy, that like drives you and motivates you, is definitely the best thing that you could possibly do, because then you're not really working, right? You're doing something that you enjoy, and it makes it a lot easier to scale that product. And also it comes across in what you produce, and everybody sees that this is like fucking sick. This guy is enjoying what he's doing. These guys are cool. They like what they're doing, and it just reflects in the product. You know,
So we got to
don't
start
half-ass anything, full asset.
Full asset.
absolutely full asset. We have to start wrapping this conversation. Two things I wanted to ask. One, do you foresee your product ever generating some sort of revenue as like an actual business? And then two, can you run us through and lead the people with a bit of roadmappy, featurey kind of stuff coming out?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, everything I do is generating revenue. You know,
Yeah.
That's right.
I'd like to take a piss and generate revenue. So, you know, yes, the answer is yes. And then in regard to roadmap, you know, just trying to expand on it in terms of just features and functionality that people want, which is what I would have done anyway. But now we have this token component, which is really interesting. So I'd like to explore how we can bring value to that token into that community. And, you know, the next step is definitely probably putting out bounties and being like, all right, contribute to the code base. If your PR is accepted, you'll be compensated for it. And then trying to figure out more holistically, how can that token feed into a product that actually like makes sense, and vice versa. So it's not just like value extractive, like zero-sum games. That's what I'd like to solve. I don't think that I'm going to. I'm not sure if I will, but I'll sure as hell try.
There you go, more power.
And taking screenshots to build applications is wild to me. I mean, this is the future for sure. Dom, any final questions here?
No, I think we covered a lot. I appreciate your time, Zach. I would just say maybe last closing thought here, with AI really taking over and taking a front seat, and you said it yourself, you can now maybe walk off, in some cases, go watch a movie while AI kind of orchestrates and works in the background. What is the most valuable skill set for a human to have? Is it the prompting? You know, what is it now?
Plumbing. Yeah. What are we doing, Zach?
Sure, prompting and all that is great, but I think the real skill that's going to differentiate you from everyone else is the ability to identify real problems and come up with practical, viable solutions to those problems. That's it. Like that's all it's ever been. It's not just putting shit out for the sake of putting it out. It's not because you want to like make some money real quick. Sure, you can do that, but like identifying problems and then providing novel solutions to those problems is what differentiates you from the rest of the pack. Because it's going to be totally easy to like, you're not going to be able to compete in a market where everybody can just slop their way into success.
Last take. Does Solana ever flip Ethereum?
I don't know for sure. Probably not, but you know, we'll see. I mean, it's a free market, right? So let's see what the participants will decide.
On that note, Zach, we appreciate your time, brother. That was awesome. Take it easy, bro. Best of luck to you. We'll be following your journey.
Yep. Thank you. Cheers.
Yep. That was nice, enlightening. I feel like kind of gave me a new perspective I haven't really thought about. You know, when I think of bags, I've always felt like people get money they didn't really ask for, and now they have to choose between committing to a deranged community at some times and maybe just like taking the money and leaving. But it is interesting if they can really niche, and we've talked about how Peter Thiel talks about niching down when you want to create a monopoly. If they can really niche down, I think, and focus on that open source side of it, where open source people can get paid for their work and somehow make built-in ownerships, IP rights, whatever it might be for holders, I think they might have something there. So that was kind of enlightening, Josh.
Totally. And I think this is the future. Shout out Guru community making it. Appreciate you guys coming in. We got a lot of Andrew Seb. Shout out Andrew Seb, King's Mentality, Emir, All In, Vince. Let's go. Great stream so far, guys. We're peeling back the layers of bags here. So yeah, we'll see. I would love to see a version of this for companies, right? As Profit talked, you know, there's some active trading, and then we can get, hey, company, there's $500,000 in fees. If you claim it, you need to sign a legal agreement here that, you know, ties the token to your business. But hey, 500 grand in fees is no small amount of money to do that implementation. So with that, our next one, we showed the screen pre-show, but maybe we'll just kind of get into it with the legend Jason. Jason, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Doing well.
Good. Welcome to MCG, man.
Yeah, it's
good.
cool.
Good to have Huggy on. So walk us through what's up.
Yeah, so I mean, much like the last guest, I woke up Friday morning to about 1 million, well, not 1 million, but a lot of messages coming in telling me what
It'd be
I should
felt
be
like
doing.
1 million.
And it was just insane. I mean, it was just completely out of the blue. And the thing was that I was supposed to be starting a new job on the Monday with Hugging Face, contract signed, everything ready to go. I've since worked out that it was kind of done on purpose, I think, by certain people to cause some disruption, but it's actually had the opposite effects. It's made me double down. So I was going to be working with them, and I was going to be building apps and doing open source stuff and doing the stuff I've been doing for a long time. Long time, 2 years or whatever, 3 years in AI is like 50 years at the moment. So I'm naive to the whole thing with crypto. So I know what it is. I don't understand the whole pairing. I don't understand the different, markets and everything. Kind of understand how it's generated and everything else, but I've got some basic, concepts of economics. But I didn't know things like, you say the wrong thing and the price drops. You say
right.
You say that, oh yeah, I've just paid off something. Oh, the price dropped. They want to know that you've just bought some equipment, or you've just done, hired someone or whatever. It's like, well, I don't know what. It's literally like walking up with a wheelbarrow into an office of someone who's got thinks they've got an idea for a new website or a new app or something, and you just wheelbarrow in, or just a whole crate full of money with no contract, with no agreement, and it's like, that's yours. You
Figure
must
it
take
out.
that. If you don't, we're going to come back and hurt you. And then have them standing outside shouting, how's it going, constantly, So I so what happened for me was, and this is why you saw the drop, was that I panicked. So I was told I need to endorse the coin, and I need to say that this is, my app that I did, and I did. I said that, and I put they said, I'll put the token up on your profile. So I put the token up on my profile. I let Hugging Face know, because lots of stuff was going back and forth, but then it got really bad, because what happened then was people started including them into the conversations. They started calling me the co-founder. They started saying it was a Hugging Face product. And because of the way these systems work, other coins started appearing. I make the same mistake. I'll come back to that bit as the last guest, but other coins started appearing. And the weird thing is they were all coming up with, 100% to me, which I just found really bizarre. Why would you do that? So I panicked, told Hugging Face, told them what was going on. They said, okay, let's, we'll take it internally. Basically told me to remove all my references to it, remove any involvement with it. So I looked into the whole community thing. I had set the community up on X. There's no way to bloody transfer a community. You can't, if I could have made it private, which you used to be able to do, I would have done that. But there's no way of transferring the ownership. So I panicked and I deleted it. It's about 122 people in there at that point. And of course, then everything went mental. And I was just getting all these, accusations and everything else. And this was like, what was this, about 9 hours into it or whatever.
Dude, you speed ran about a decade of crypto do's and don'ts in like 6 hours.
I do. Yeah. Well, it gets better than this. It gets a bit more interesting. So I got into it pretty quickly. And like the last guest, it was like, when you see, I think there's a big communication issue with bags and how it's perceived and what's expected of you. So for me, I'm building open source stuff anyway, and I do it for free, but I need to get paid. Now, typically that means I've got contract work, freelance work, or I'm employed by somebody, or I'm going to be employed by somebody, which is going to give me the chance to do lots of different, applications and free stuff that I can give away, which I have been. I'm writing white papers and stuff. So that's the plan. Now, that's always going to be what I'm going to do, but I need to be earning money. So I think bags need to kind of orient it around, this is like an investment. And like the last guest said, or like you guys said, there's something you have to say that by accepting it, you're going to do this, this, and this. And there's like, you treat it like investors and you give them updates. And maybe there's an interface that lets you do that and communicate with them. It all feels a bit Wild Westy at the moment. and you'll get people dropping in spaces that you're in, or they'll be saying, when are you next going to do something? I had loads of messages today saying, are you ready for the interview? Are you ready for the interview? And it's like, guys, this is what I do. You know, this is no different from going on a podcast and talking about what I do. I've been doing this for a while. I know what I'm doing. You just got to let me do it, you know?
And so I want to ask about Hugging Face real quick. For those that don't know, it's like a giant AI software, like
they're
a
massive. They're like the central place for open source models,
right?
And it is the resources they have. You know, they've got all Microsoft, all these open source models go to Hugging Face, right? They'll be on GitHub and everything else. They've got Gradio. They've got, you know, the Spaces system. Everything goes through that in terms of open source and open weights. It is the number one place for open source as far as I'm concerned, and so I use it all the time anyway, and I'll continue to use it. I don't have any negative thing to say about them. I think they did the right thing, and even if I'd woken up and said I'm not going to do anything with this, I'm not going to get involved with it, the same thing would have happened, because it probably would have been even worse, and they would have still made the same decision, and then I'd have been out. I'd have had nothing.
Yeah.
So I'd have been starting this week with literally nothing.
And that was after claiming the fees, right?
So, I claimed, I mean, I was claiming because I did a test because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, you go into these things and people are saying, you know, transfer $2 or $1 of tokens.
Yeah.
You don't want to, and you like copying and pasting and everything's really, you know, because you hear all the stories and everything. Meanwhile, you're getting DMs from people saying, oh, just connect to this app and I'll help you. And you're like, no. Well,
Yeah.
So I did the transfer and it came through on my Revolut account, and I'm just like, holy crap, you know,
real money.
So,
it's real. It's real, Jason. It is real money. This is a real financial system.
Yeah. And so when I explained to my wife, who's a computer science graduate, she's way smarter than me. She was like, I don't get where's this coming from? How is this possible? How do you get more? You know, how can you do this?
Yeah. I just want to go back to Hugging Face real quick. So people understand, like, this is not, I don't want to say a dream job, but like, this is like a big career step for you. It's a dream job. So that because I want people to understand, like, you don't take this lightly. Like, this is serious, right? Like, this is real life kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, everyone's commenting over here, you're an experienced developer, you know, you're trying to do the right thing for you and your family, etc. So then now kind of go from, you know, where you're
that
going
was
from
it.
here.
That was what was going through my head, right? What's going through my head is I've got this job opportunity and it's at risk. And I have to make some decisions here as to what I'm going to do. I tried to keep both. I tried to navigate it. It didn't work. And then, of course, you have the backlash. But as a result, I've lost what I consider to be the dream job, where I would have been able to do this stuff. Now, it probably would have happened that maybe I couldn't have been involved in the coin, and we'd have dealt with it in a much better way. But I get why they did what they did. You know, there was huge amount of confusion. There are 250 odd people. You know, it was quite an exclusive opportunity. They approached me as well. So I was, you know, everything I've done for the last few years in AI has built up to the fact that you get someone like Hugging Face contact you and say, would you consider working for us? That's just insane. Okay. So I was doing what I had to do for my family. You know, like the last guy said, I'm not going to go out and buy a Tesla. I'm not going to go out and waste money. I've just invested right now in a DGX Spark that came today so that I can do local inference and do more of what I do, you know, without having to pay providers and I've been contacted by some big open source model providers today who want me to do posts and blogs and things with their models. So it's going to be awesome. And that's what I love doing. So nothing's changed for me. The only confusion is that people chose this one app Huggy, which was a little chatbot fork that I customized the hell out of. And now I've actually got to build an ecosystem around that because I've got loads of apps. And I've got loads of things that I'm working on, you know, the agents and memory systems and the white paper. The white paper hopefully is going to be on archive as long as nobody tries to sabotage that. And that's going to be amazing because that's a completely unique way of tracking source code through screenshots. No one's done it. No one's come up with it. And you're hiding the screenshots within the noise of the background colors of elements. So the human can't see it. But if someone takes a screenshot of your app and sends it to you, your agent can instantly know where that code is. And that's huge for agentic sort of systems.
That's actually amazing.
It is awesome, yeah. And I want to build an app around that. You know, I've got an app called Cluso. It's a web inspector, so you know, Inspector Cluso. And you know, I was on a podcast showing that, and it's all voice controlled. And you can sort of say, you know, oh, you know, could you change that to blue? Oh, I'll move it over to the left. And I'm manipulating the web page in real time as well as doing the background stuff, so it looks super fast, you know. And that's going to be used in that to make it even faster. You know, I was on Robert Scoble doing a thing about a voice agent that I'm building, where I've got multi levels of cognition and all this stuff. I built the Titan Memory MCP. It's just, you know, I talked about MCP for over a year and have been on the summit doing talks. So this is just what I do, and I'd have been doing that with them, probably more of it. And I'll do it now. I'll still do it now. Nothing's going to stop me doing that. So it's whether people want to come along for the ride or not. All I've got to do now is make the ecosystem around that, and like the last guy said, work out, like I think it was Zach, was it? You know, how to integrate the coin. So I've got ideas for paid products. All my products, all my stuff I've built could be generating revenue. You know, I've got a flow system that I've yet to release that lets you build virtual models by putting flows together and connecting your RAG and all that stuff, and then calling it a model and just calling it from your normal chatbot, and you can actually watch the inference happen. You know, that's done. I've shown that. That's published. I've got Stacks, which is like a endless canvas note-taking thing where you can build things and design things. I've got Flowgent, weird name, sounds a bit like a, you know, drain cleaner or something, but Flowgent's like a creative tool where you can think of it like a comfy UI, but it looks a lot nicer, I think, and it's a lot easier to use, and it's even got a video editor as one of the nodes. You know, I've got all kinds. I've got this new character that I've suddenly got to start doing stuff with. I'm going to build an agent system around that. So there's just loads of things. I'm still trying to get my head around that list so that I can kind of let people know, you know, what's going on. But yeah, I want to keep doing this. But what happened on the Saturday? I just need to tell you this. So on the Saturday, I did the same thing as Zach did. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to create a coin. I've got a tool called MCPZ, terrible naming, MCPZ, right? And it's like a tool thing for MCPs that keeps your token count down. It's like dynamic MCP. I did that in February 2025. Wow. And Anthropic talked about it in October, and everyone went nuts. It's like, not me. Their paper came out saying, MCP, dynamic tooling. Yeah. And I was doing that in February, so it's really frustrating. But anyway, I put that up and I thought, okay, I'll do 50-50. I'll give 50 back through the, you know, the distribution thing, and 50 I'll you know, keep of fees. And so as soon as I did it, I had all these people suddenly hit me. Don't do another coin. Don't do another coin. So it's like, oh my God, okay, I'll leave that. But then obviously people start, you know, getting into that. But anyway, I start doubling down now. I did a few boosts. I threw a bit into an advert on Dex and stuff like that. And then someone said, you should lock some of the tokens. So I now have 20 million tokens of the coin locked until April. I can't remember. It's sometime in April, 9:30 at night on the year 72,800 and something, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Oh my gosh. Was that 2% of supply?
It was. I don't know. I don't know. It's not a huge amount. I mean, it was at the time. But the interface didn't tell me that by doing what I was doing with the numbers that I was messing around with, because it wasn't clear whether I was typing in millions or do I type in 20M or 20 million, you know, and all this sort of stuff. I know.
Dude,
and I'm a, you know,
we're talking year 7800, right?
I'm a crypto idiot. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's 72,000 or something. It's like it's like nearly 80,000 years.
Just gotta be patient.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
You're the first in the world to do that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so someone said to me today, you know, oh, you should put some money back in and stuff like that. But it's like, well, first of all, if I put the fees back in, that is what I'm treating as the income to allow me to do that now, because guess what? I lost the job because of this. So I need to be paid to do what I'm doing. And therefore you can be, you know, earning and making money from that, you know, through the investment that you're doing.
So this is what I want to ask. Timeline goes, this token gets launched for you. You're interested, you check it out. It blows up. You don't know what to do. You end up losing the job from it. What happens now? Is it like, well, I'm forced into adopting Huggy and I'm now making this my mission in the near future? Like, what happens?
The irony is that I wanted to do more stuff that I'm in control of. I wanted to do some stuff that I could launch, and you know, at some point I wanted to look at things like not tokens, but Bitcoin and stuff like that. And I wanted to do more videos, and I wanted to do more live streams. I do some music live streams now and again where I've done some AI music on Suna.
Yeah, nice studio, by the way. You're got a really great studio.
Yeah, my
It's
Nano
wonderful.
desk as well. So that's they've sent me a freebie of a beta product as well.
Like we're professional live streamers, but like we don't know anything.
Yeah,
we're just here to provide.
I did it. Yeah, so I did all this before.
Look at
I
that.
did all this before. Yeah, so I've spent.
This is sick.
I've spent some good cash on just sort of setting up a room, and these are all touch panels and they can all be independent. And I want to work on some software where people can watch the stream and then actually change the lights, and then that's the Quest setup. It's pretty cool. And I'm building stuff in that as well. I built a memory system that you can walk around. It's just insane stuff. So this is what I love doing. Now, the irony is, if I can be paid to do this, then that's fantastic. I'll just keep doing it. And if that's adding value for everybody, which it should, because I've got here because of the stuff I've been doing, then that's cool with me. I'll stick with this. So it's, I said to the community earlier, which by the way, now is like 700 odd people in the community. And even though the coin is it has gone up and down, and it's gone down significantly from that Saturday, obviously, because of what happened. And there's still some, fair bit of distrust. But people are kind of making out that I'm playing it up and I'm acting as if I'm doing this. But you just look at my timeline, look at my profile, look at my history. I'm an open book. You can go online and find out everything about me and my family. So, because we've done all kinds of things with media before and stuff too with my kids and stuff we've done at the house. So I'm out there, So you can believe what you want to believe. Just know that I'm going to keep doing this and I'm going to keep building this stuff. And I've got runway at the moment to do that, and I want to be able to do more. So it's going to be really, really cool, and I'll build a little ecosystem around it. I'll treat it like an investment. So I need to be much more structured in terms of how I give updates and things like that. So like the investor calls or whatever. I don't want to be as silly as that, but make it fun. I want to do some really cool 3D stuff.
So to summarize, we have an opportunity from this moment, or Jason, have an opportunity from this moment to be like your own little product studio. My dream job.
To have your
dream job. Find ways to earn money, build products that generate revenue. So not only can you pay for your livelihood, but also grow this into a valuable ecosystem.
Yeah. And I just want to.
Is that where we're at?
Yeah, and I just want to pay my bills and live comfortably and be able to take the kids on holiday. I don't need to splurge on ridiculous things. I don't need to go and get Teslas and stuff like that. I don't want things like that. I just want to build on AI. That's my addiction right now, right?
Yeah.
And if I can do that and not have to worry about paying bills and be able to buy the equipment that I need and everything else, take care of my taxes, do all that stuff, that's cool. And I'll just keep doing that. That's the ultimate dream job.
We have 12 minutes left, and I want to get into kind of what those next steps actually look like. What products do you think are close to being, the Huggy vision, the Huggy to the moon type vision?
Well, basically, Huggy's turned out to be quite a nice little brand, if I'm still allowed to use that, because obviously it's no affiliation, but it's got the word Hug in it, whatever. So one of the first things I want to do is I want to take the badly named Flogent Creative Studio and turn that into a Huggy product so that's actually a proper tool. It's already got actually a little robot character in it who's like the little bot who's the logo, so it's perfect. I just need to swap him in and basically have him as a really annoying little avatar thing that pops up. But that tool is cool. I mean, I've been creating these little movies with it, with Nano Banana, and you can build a story, you can create a world model in terms of a descriptive world. You can then chain that off into characters. You can do the character design. It's all just flow. It's like Kung Fu Yui on steroids. It's more than like Kung Fu Yui is very technical and it's very, towards people that are that inclined. It's an awesome product. This is more like my kids could use this, and they're not. I'm not saying they're stupid. They're very bright, but I did a version for my son who's 7, and within 10 minutes he was sending me comic books he'd done with it. which is
Wow,
insane.
that's
you know?
cool.
So
Yeah.
so that's just, I mean, that's just awesome. You know, and with the voice stuff that I want to add, he'll just be able to sit there and go, do me, you know, Spider-Man and dinosaurs or whatever, fighting whatever.
Yeah.
And it's going to come
And
up
which
with all
isn't
this
a
cool
crazy
stuff.
idea. I mean, Disney invested in OpenAI $1 billion to bring their IP
and
into
I called
AI.
that in 2025 when everyone's going about the year of the agents. Early in 2025, I said that if this is the year of the agents, next year will be generative video, and we'll see the first streaming platform doing generative video.
Yeah.
And if Hollywood and these companies do not get on board, they're going to lose it, because they can't stop it. Because with a spark, I can be producing movies that I'm not going to sell, but fan-made movies, you know, creative stuff, they're going to miss out. And so what Disney and OpenAI have done exactly the right thing. They've kind of owned it. They can promote it. People can make money from it, and they get some semblance of control. And that's the way to handle it. So
yeah. So
I can see where this is going, you know?
Yeah, totally. And I think what you are, and I'm just going to bring it back to the token here a little bit, because you're building, you're an innovator, you're visionary, you are obviously went through a Hugging Face, interview process.
Yeah.
And they're like a tier 1 firm. So you're also of that caliber of developer.
Yeah.
You're
No
going
tests.
all in.
Yeah,
You're going all in on this. Like
Yeah.
you're really focused on it. You have
Yep.
products in the back drawer that you're like, all right, I can rebrand. Let's do this with this community. You now have a community of 700 potential customers and Salesforce and advocates, etc.
Yep.
Back to the token.
How would I have done
ecosystem,
that before? How would I have done that before?
No, totally.
It's
I mean,
like-
this is why we do what we do as Dom and I, because we see where this is going. This is going to be massive.
The internet capital markets,
Internet
the future of
capital
bootstrapping
markets.
products.
What it needs is just that fine tuning of making it very clear to the people that are investing what the fees are for. You know, you're doing this to give fees, you know, some of the coins say to help you develop. You know, it's got to be treated more like an investment. Because otherwise it's just very volatile.
So what's interesting is there are, other launch pads, just like Bags is a launch pad. There are other launch pads where holders sign contracts over, and they actually have treasuries. And so let's say they raise $4 or $5 million, they have a permitted, $250,000 monthly burn rate or whatever it is, and that's emitted to them every month. If they need more money, they can raise votes to do it, and people can vote on if they want it or not. And there are those more structured models for decentralized ownership, I guess you could say. I really want to hear your feedback, because this is great feedback for Finn, founder of Bags.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. If there was a way that I could basically just get, like you say, whatever it is per month runway, and that just takes care of everything I need to take care of, that's cool. You know, just like, let me get on with it. You know, I don't want to deal with the finance stuff, really. I don't want to deal with any of that. At the moment, it's very Wild Westy. You've got really talented people out there, like the guy that did you've got the NPM guy, but you've got the Gastown.
Yeah.
Now I get where he came from. It's really overwhelming when you're just trying to do what you do. Someone said, here's some money to help you, and then you're getting so much. I mean, I was getting messages saying you haven't spoken for 2 hours.
Yeah,
you haven't said anything for 2 hours, and I'm like, okay. And that's bad. And then that creates, and they say it publicly, which creates a negative look, and it affects the price.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Being doxxed like that on the internet is anxiety inducing, and
it's incredibly stressful.
We want to offer up a little advisement here, because we're highly experienced in this and been doing this a long time. So here, I'll give you an example. So we've seen examples in crypto where there's products with coins, and when there's an acquisition of that product, basically the token holders are left with nothing. They don't own equity, they don't own the IP and whatnot. And what the conversation now is, as the regulations, especially in the US, are starting to change, where now the token could be ownership of the IP and ownership of the coin. And it's written in a legal document, with a lawyer, it's legally enforceable. And what we find is that kind of, eases the tension, right? It's like, I bought this, but I'm buying this as a bet on the founder. I'm going to go away, let them execute, because when I DM them, it's distracting them. So it's actually my best interest not to DM them, just let them do their thing. Do you see a world where you own a percentage of the token that you've acquired somehow? Obviously, unlocked in 70,000 years is not the answer, but you own some percentage of the token. you're allowing these products to grow, but the IP is assigned to the token in some way. And it kind of allows you to focus on product building and the community to kind of know what they own when they buy.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, software has changed so much now that if someone comes out with a demo of a close, you know, if that video you're showing now, if that was a demo that I announced of a product coming out closed beta, someone will clone that in 2 hours, you know, 24 hours. There'll be a clone out there. So everybody just does open source. They have the licenses in place and everything else. So I got no problem with that. I think what should probably happen is, first of all, there needs to be an opt-out option for all of the other coins that were created. You know, someone created a Hugging Face coin and then assigned it to me. And because of my naivety with the buttons and clicking, I ended up claiming the $15 or $20. So I made a donation of a couple of $100 back to, you know, the Palestinian thing, you know, food parcels and stuff like that of that money. So, you know, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be, as you know, I want to be ethical. You know, I want to be a good role model or whatever. But I think what's missing is, I think when the Huggy coin was set up, at that point, I think that has to somehow, and I don't know how, become an entity itself. So, and that would fit with the model you're talking about. So it would become a company, or you know, it would become a legal entity that has this money going into it, that you would then get your own way. You would have ownership. The rest of the investors would have ownership, and then the money that comes in for that venture goes in, and it just becomes like an invested business. And then the trust is there, because you can't just go in and take all the money. You know, you're getting your agreed runway or whatever that you need.
So like ultimately,
I think that would help.
Directionally, you know, I think you're saying, and I think a lot of people agree, directionally, it's kind of correct. We're directionally correct
It is,
on funding
absolutely.
for open source, but the goal just needs to be, you know, get this funding because people believe in you. Maybe you weren't expecting it. Get some sort of clarity legally, build the apps, and then share the spoils with the people that originally funded the vision and believed in you, right? And so that's kind of the life cycle we're looking to do here.
Yeah. I mean,
nailing it down is the answer.
Yeah, you got to look at what would normally happen if this was a normal investment. If someone had come along and offered me $60,000 investment, that would be amazing. But what would come with that is advice, is help, is, you know, we want our return on our investment. We're gonna give you a mentor. We're gonna give you this. We're gonna advise and you know, plan things out. This is like you just dumped with it, and you know, get on with it. And there's too much confusion, and there's trust issues, and there's people saying I should spend all the money back on boosting it. And it's like, how is that going to help? You know, that just seems completely crazy for me to artificially want to try and boost and you know, change the price. I just want to do what I do, and it should prove itself based on what I've done already. We had a blip. People have blips because they don't know what they're doing with this stuff. Again, education, you know, what it means. And yeah, I've got to talk to Brian Johnson about how I can extend my life to, you know, family can, you know, they'll be all right. I can get to 72,000. But
good luck with that.
I'm navigating it the best I can right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, you have two sides to buybacks, right? Sometimes people say when companies buy back their own stock, and we'll just use this as an example, people say, well, it's because they have no better option to use that money. And is that actually a good thing? And then on the other hand, it's like, well, it's a show of confidence. They're betting on themselves, right? So it can be a push-pull. I think also just like when there's no clarity on what the token is going to be used for, why it'd be valuable for you to buy it back yourself, it you know, you got to think through these things and kind of sit on.
Yeah.
We saw similar things to this, and like the answer is, you know, people are going to be berating you right now, but if you sit back, you can take some time to develop a real good game plan. You don't have to jump into anything. And that's where people get caught up, is trying to jump into things, over-promising, not really knowing what they're getting into. We saw that with Believe quite a bit, which is another platform that was somewhat similar to what we're seeing here with Bags. So, yeah.
So I think, I mean, the disconnect that I had was with the connection of the coin. I was thinking way too out there with connecting the coin. And what you said in the previous interview was like, oh God, that's exactly what I should do. So I was already coming up with this concept of subscriptions and things for like this service, Flowgen or whatever, or the Huggy version. And what I should have thought about is, well, you just use coins. You know, use coin. Yes, you can take real money, but you can, primarily take coins. That gives you the more advanced modes or the badges or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's as simple as that, really. So that's
Yeah,
what I've
and
got to
you
look
could
at.
also do a model. We've seen models where, like, if you pay in the coin, you get a 30% discount, and it
Right, right.
also incentivizes people to make the mental jump to,
Yes.
say, oh, well, I'm going to explore what this coin is because I got 30% discount, right? Like, people will
Yeah.
download full apps just to get a coupon,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
tons of models
yeah.
out there. We got to wrap this conversation, but
Cool.
Jason, I want to also offer, because, we believe in what you're doing. MCG is here to help out in terms of just advisement. If you have questions or thoughts, we'll set up a Telegram group and just,
Cool.
you can
That'd
bounce
be awesome.
ideas
Thank
off
you.
us. And
Yeah.
we want to see developers like you be successful. And for context, we're partnered with Meteora, which is all the underlying trading infrastructure behind Bags and other launch pads. So
Okay.
we
Cool.
want Meteora to win. We want creators like you to win, because we
Yeah,
want
that'd
people
be
to see,
amazing.
like, hey, this is a great model to fund open source
is.
development that could turn into a great company, a great product that then returns value back to the holders. So
it is absolutely, it's in the right direction completely. There's no way that I would be where I am now and get some Series A, Series B, or whatever, because you've got to do so much to get there, and it's like a little boys club.
Mark our words, Hugging Face and other these types of companies will be looking at these models by the end of this year. I promise you that. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot
Cool,
for the support.
Jason.
Pleasure. And real quick, Jason, where can people find you? We had a comment. What's Jason's handle? Can you give us your handle where people find you?
It's at Jason Neen, which is spelled Kneen.
Awesome. Thanks. And you guys can see right here on the screen.
Huggy app. Yeah. And the website's a kind of temporary thing I had to throw up just to keep people happy. But that's going to become much more. And I think if I pivot the Flowgent thing, I think it'll be a really cool product.
Yeah, and the 20 million locked to 70,000 years in the future is literally like that's
well,
a
it is,
story.
but it's releasing to me weekly. But it's like,
no. That's amazing.
It's good. I might do a little counter somewhere of like, what's been released.
I love it, Jason. You're on the right track, buddy.
Gotta laugh. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Peace.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay, Josh, do we want to? We've gotten feedback. I think it's very similar between both of the developers we've had on. It's like, hey, this is cool, but we need to flesh it out. Yeah. What, like, do you want to just comment on that real quick at all?
Yeah. So the loop here, and I think we're gonna go back to some tweets. We started on Thursday last week warning everyone about Bags app and some of these tokens, and it wasn't clear what you're getting. And we provided up some solutions, potential solutions to the team at Bags. And I think then we saw what unfolded over the weekend, right? Those charts are all Christmas trees. People got hurt. People made money. Who cares? A lot of trading speculation. Now we're in this scenario where, okay, the dust has settled. We have some builders. We're kind of getting to understand who they are, what they're actually about. And I think there's value here. I think this is the right model directionally. But Dom, maybe talk a little bit about some of our ownership solutions here.
Well, yeah. So and we touched on the ownership solutions too. And like, I think there needs to be more of this. Last stream we talked about it. Hey, maybe there's some claim, but again, you have to sign a contract. And if you want to claim this money, you're going to have some sort of emissions based on voting and IP and revenues are somehow going to flow back to a treasury, and there'll be a split so holders actually can share in some of the upside of this, obviously. Because it's very clear, none of this is like a pro bono thing. This isn't a donation. People do see some sort of upside in this and they want to speculate. So, you have the models like MetaDAO, which are pioneering this. They're doing ICO, so they're raising, on average $2 to $3 to $5 to $8 million for their people, and they have a little bit different of a model. And then full IP and ownership directly flows back through a treasury and then to the people, and that can be voted on what to do with that. Then you have things like SOAR, which is equity anchor. SOAR and Street equity anchor, basically adjacent protocols where you actually have equity in the companies, and this might the solutions are gonna be different per person, but on that note, we do have CPT coming up next. It looks like they're not quite here yet, but CPT is with SOAR, and they have that equity adjacent model where, you have a share in Impulsor here. And if the company does well, they have a liquidity event. If they go and raise, if they go in IPO, holders have a share of that. I think the key is, though, let's remember what happened in Believe. And let's remember what happened in Bags app last time, about a year ago, when we saw this craze happen, because this is not the first time we've been very clear that sustainability is necessary. Sometimes it's like this is all fun and games till the music stops. People take their money and they go, and then it's on to the next. We saw this with Believe. We saw a lot of projects launch. People got money from trading fees. There was no actual claim for holders. There was no holder rights. So investors kind of got stood up high and dry. And then you only saw a few kind of come out of the smoke here. We saw this with the dot-com bubble too. And I used this as a reference yesterday. You saw everything with the dot-com bubble just pop and go crazy, got a ton of attention. But once the bubble popped, only a few emerged. And those few that emerged ended up being some of the biggest companies in the world. But the truth is, it seems like we're having that sort of life cycle on bags. Can we figure out the aspect where holders of the token have some sort of intrinsic value tied to it? And I think if yes, and some of these founders are going to do this independently. So if yes, these tokens can be valuable. If not, of course, they're going to trend to zero over time.
And I want to point people in the right direction here. So this is a really great interview, and Tom's going to be on MCG tomorrow. He built SOAR, and he actually has a legal lawyer background. And what SOAR is they created a model where you have an outstanding debt note. And if you're someone who's created a business, you launch a token, and in the current model, there's no legal tie. If there's an acquisition or a liquidity event, the token holders get screwed. But if the token is tied to a legal financial obligation, like an outstanding debt, that debt has to be cleared at some point. And so let's say there's an acquisition of that company, that debt has to be paid off. And what the issuer has to do is they have to go to the open market and buy those tokens to then go and return it and pay off that debt. And that's SOAR's model. This is kind of in
directly
lieu,
distribute they're acquired for 10 million. They can
directly distribute the funds, right? And so here you can see they talk about, is it a meme coin versus real value, how you have founder control, just things about the model, and what happens if there's an IPO, what happens if there's a liquidity event. Highly recommend you go to this Lightspeed pod or tune in tomorrow on MCG. Hear SOAR, Tom talk about some of this stuff. And I know Jason's still in the waiting room. Like, I think right now you're at a point where you've issued your token, you've got a community, you have some initial product ideas. As those firm up into real business ideas and you say, okay, look, there's a business here, create your LLC, create your corporation. Then you can go to someone like Tom and say, hey, look, I need to take this token and enshrine actual legal value into it. Like, can I back it into this DRP model, for instance? And now that token has some enshrined legal value. And if your company grows, gets a $10 million acquisition, users know that the token that they own is tied legally to that acquisition value. So just a shout out based on our experience around ownership tokens. Again, MCG was one of the first, if not the first streamers in the world to talk about ownership tokens. I don't know if Tom, you have anything.
Yeah, no, it's great. And there's so many options. We're going to have to find a good option for you and it works. And maybe Bags figures it out. Hopefully, Finn's listening to this as well and like add some sort of this feedback we've been giving for so long. For
Finn,
those listening,
we try and DM Finn, buddy. Finn, you get in our DMs, buddy.
But we've seen this again with Believe. And I think we're kind of going through a similar life cycle. We're going to see 99% die, but there are going to be a few that still build with and say, okay, we're going to try to attach some value to it. We're going to be we're going to do what Dupe did. We're going to do what, Buddy tried to do for a while. We're going to do what Fitcoin did. We're going to do what Kled did. Right. And then, those tokens went to multi-million-dollar market caps, $50+ million market caps for Dupe and Kled. And again, so we're going to see some come out of the ashes here, but you guys have to be, thorough in your due diligence to find those. Nonetheless, good friends of the show. Back again, Impulsor, CPT, building out some insane technology, wireless energy transfer. And so
they'll be on in 5-6 minutes. We're a little early there, but do you want to run through some charts and just show what some of these charts are, Dom? Let's show the people. We got 1,900 people that have tuned in here, a lot of Bags community. Let's give them some context into the new wave of ownership tokens. And we say new wave because I think these legal frameworks are just being really firmed up and kind of formalized.
We can do that. Do you want to hear Thread Guy's take on
sure
Docs founders? Because this is something we've talked about on the show quite a bit. I actually thought this was his take on bags here. This is his take on bags. Please let me know if you can hear it. And maybe we'll just hear what he thinks about that and add some comment. Because again, I have been kind of enlightened. I think there is a future if bags can niche down to open source and make sure the spoils get shared, have some legalities behind it. There's like a really, really nice opportunity for them here. But let's hear what Thread Guy has to say about bags here.
My general take here is, what did you expect? You basically designed a mechanism that raises money for projects people didn't ask money to be raised for, and their entire existence and purpose is to beg this person to take the money while exclaiming that there's no strings attached. This is essentially what Bags. Now, I think Bags is extremely reflexive and powerful for the same reason that it sucks. My general take here is, what did you expect? You basically designed a mechanism that raises money for projects that people didn't ask money.
Yeah. So it's a general take we've seen a lot of. And it's what we continue
It's
to talk
true,
about.
man. That is actually, it almost borderlines on irresponsibility. It's so irresponsible to have something like that, where you have an army of people now harassing these people because they have a financial incentive. Look, like if the person goes and claims it, the token jumps 300%. That's an amazing financial incentive to try and goat someone into claiming these fees and saying, oh, there's $50,000 of free money. But remember, guys, money is not free. There's no such thing as free
Never
money.
a free dollar. Yeah. So I don't know. We can talk about ownership. I don't want to derail the conversation, though. I mean, it looks like we have Roman ready to go. If you want to just jump into Impulsor now, we can get into everything later at the end of the stream here on ownership and what we have saved.
Yeah. I mean, Roman, are we, do you have a thumbs up there? You can, yeah. All right. We can go to Roman then.
All right, sweet. I gotta play one of my favorite videos. Roman, can you hear us?
Guys, the audio again.
No, dude. How is this possible? It's got to be a Geneva thing. What's going on in Geneva where the audio, they need powerless audio transfer over there, dude.
Yo, honestly, Roman is funny because for those that don't know, every time we do a session with Impulsor, whether it's Patrick, Roman, we always have audio issues. We've done 200 interviews on MCG, never had any problems. But as soon as Impulsor hops in, all of a sudden the internet is, all right, let's try this. Roman, what's up?
Yes. Excellent.
Okay.
It's I realized what it is, guys. It's whenever someone backstage writes a message or a comment, it cuts out my audio.
Well, I'm glad you figured that out. You're the engineer. You're supposed to figure this stuff out.
I could hear every single time, and then as soon as there's a comment in backstage, bang, it cuts everything out.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So then maybe should we just refrain from commenting backstage, I guess?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
We won't chat.
Nonetheless,
I don't know what's going on.
we had Patrick on, and he gave us some big updates. You guys had some big partnerships with PowerCast over the week or weekend, whatever you want to call it. But you're here now to talk about that from a engineering standpoint, and run through it. So I guess from your perspective, what's been going on with you guys? You guys have been grinding, working hard. Again, Sang mode. Patrick's running around, striking these deals. You guys have multiple products in the works here. From your perspective, what's been going on with you?
Well, first of all, Patrick is incredible. I mean, the speed with which he's working, the energy that he brings to the team, to the organization is really kind of remarkable. I haven't seen anyone work as hard on like literally anything like this guy. I mean, he's literally living on a plane for us. So big respect. And I don't think people have yet realized just how big of a deal this agreement is between PowerCast and ourselves. I've been speaking to PowerCast for about a year, let's say, and we had a very nice agreement before, and we were really comfortable with it, very happy. And then Patrick was like, you know what? Let's take it one Sang mode more, like one extra, And he went and he did it, and it's pretty incredible.
And what is
So
that one saying mode more?
yeah, like,
Yeah,
you know,
what does that
he's
mean?
just he takes whatever we have right now and he just like ups it by one extra level. And so this agreement is really it's a really big thing because Powercast have sold 30 million units in the US predominantly in the last 24 months of their radio frequency WPT powered components. So that's absolutely enormous. And we have agreed that we're going to have this multi domain agreement with them to take them to the rest of the world. So that's absolutely massive.
Wait a
Can you
minute,
give
wait a
us an
minute.
example of some of these products?
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I have one right here.
Oh, full screen. I'm
So
full
this
screen.
is well, I mean, this is an industrial sensor that they have. So it doesn't look like much, but I think you can see that right there is turned on. And if I turn off the transmitter, then it's off.
Hmm.
And I
Okay,
turn on the transmitter.
whoa. So we have a lot of new
Here's the
people today.
transmitter. This isn't their industrial transmitter. This is their consumer goods transmitter. And as soon as I turn it on, it powers on here as well. I don't know if you can. Where was the angle there? Where was the angle? There we go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. And I turn it off. There we go.
And that's using wireless power transfer. So to zoom out, 'cause we have
Let's call it contactless power transfer.
contactless
Come on,
power
guys.
transfer. All right.
That
we
is
have-
our CPT
Slogan.
You know?
We have 2,000
right.
people on this. Many have never heard of Impulsor. 30 seconds here. Can we start with who Impulsor is and what technology are you showing off here?
Yeah, so Impulsor is a tech house, I think is the best way to describe it. And we have three verticals of, as we call it, contactless power transfer, which is essentially the ability to transfer energy, electrical energy, from point A to point B without using any physical connector, no wires, no charging pads, just through the air or through water or through space. And we develop specific solutions as end products. And we're going to, this is a brand new industry, a brand new field. And we're partnering up with a lot of really interesting startups, great companies to deliver the vision of democratizing power.
Yeah.
Boom.
And here's an example. I want to give people an example of this because, again, context matters here. This is almost like Star Trek-esque stuff. So I'm just going to quickly expand this. So this right here is a drone that you have that is currently aloft, and you are basically using a high-powered laser to beam up energy to a receiver that keeps the drone aloft for 6 days at a time. Really quick, can you just tell people the different applications of this technology?
Right. So we have three verticals there. We have laser power, magnetic resonance, and we have RF. So laser power transfer, yeah, you essentially have a laser turret, let's say, and it beams a very powerful laser, really, really powerful stuff. And you can beam energy to a moving target, whether that's a helicopter, drone, car, whatever you need, at extreme range. So that's one of the technologies that we are developing. Then on the magnetic resonance, we have a variety of products ready to go. They're consumer goods predominantly, but we could also power vehicles. You can power industrial robots. It's sort of like induction, but at distance. So it just takes induction one step further. And then finally, we have radio frequency, which is Powercast's, let's say, bread and butter. And that's the stuff I have in front of you now, which is like industrial smart sensors. Again, I'll just turn it on here. I don't know if you can, where is the,
Yep.
yeah, there's the light. So that's industrial smart sensors. Their technology can power IoT devices. It can also power some consumer goods. And it can power it at great range, several meters to several hundreds of meters once you boost the power. So this is quite a phenomenal solution for IoT smart sensor applications, such as agriculture, such as temperature sensors, humidity. And that basically allows this unit, this technology allows this unit to function without the need to replace the battery, which is absolutely massive. And of course, it's totally wire-free, which allows you to put it wherever you want.
Yeah.
So those are the key benefits to it.
On Monday, we had talked to Patrick. So go watch that MCG interview on Monday with Patrick Sang. In that conversation, we talked about kind of a three-pronged strategy with PowerCast. One is you're a reseller of their products. And the benefit of that is you have a go-to-market product today that you can earn revenue off of from a
and not to mention, we have effectively shortcutted 21 years of R&D, which is what they've what they've put into this thing.
Huge
So
benefit.
that is quite a benefit, I would say.
I would love to touch on this.
Yeah, really quick, just to label the three. The second was co-developed products that you guys will develop together. And then the third was a contract manufacturer for impulsor specific products. So maybe Dom, we can go deep on that first prong first.
Yeah. So you guys have said this is the biggest announcement to date. And I don't think we've really dove into it enough to understand. And I think I'm just now understanding really the full scope of it. PowerCast here has sold 30 million units in the past 24 months.
Indeed. In the US alone,
in the US,
well, mainly like 95% of sales.
Based on their radio frequent technology. Now they've said, hey, you guys are a distribution arm outside of the US. Hey, we've done 30 million unit sales. Now take this successful product, has product market fit, and sell it everywhere else for us. And by the way, we're going to cut you off some.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean,
so that's huge. I mean, that is literally enormous by itself. I mean, the thing is this is why it's such a phenomenal strategic partnership for both parties. First of all, not many teams, in fact, I would say very few, have someone like Patrick and Tim. I'm not going to talk about myself, to execute rapid deployment of products, right? So PowerCast are getting that. So they're happy. We're talking to a lot of big guys, and they're asking for. Initially, the conversation is always about, well, I'd love to see my plane being powered by a laser. And you go, yes, that is cool, but have you thought about actually deploying IoT devices as well in your country? And they go, well, I don't know, is that an interesting market? And you go, yes, because there's going to be 1 trillion IoT devices deployed in the world by 2034. Imagine changing the batteries of 1 trillion devices every 4 years. I mean, it'll be a nightmare. And this eliminates the changing of batteries. So that's absolutely massive. In the future, there's going to be only 2 types of smart sensor: conventional and CPT enabled. And we'll be the first to deploy the CPT enabled ones.
That's awesome. Now, I want to talk about this partnership a bit more. Is this an exclusive partnership, or are they going to open this up for anyone to be able to sell in these other countries? Or are you guys the sole benefactor of that?
So we are exclusively deploying that. So it is literally massive. I mean, imagine this, guys. 30 million units, and we are the company that is deploying the final product, not the components inside. I.e. the components inside are, let's say, less expensive, but when you deploy the actual product to the end user, you're talking about really good margins. We've done the estimate on our IoT devices that we are going to be deploying, the average price of which, Live Finder included. Oh, by the way, here it is, the Live Finder.
Number 2.
Yeah, is an average, a weighted average of $804 a unit.
$804 a unit. Is that revenue or profit?
That's
that's
price,
the
revenue,
price.
revenue.
Okay, so $804
So-
a unit in revenue. You said the margins are pretty high. They've sold
Very
30
high,
million in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and now I'm
in
not
just
saying
units.
we're going to sell 30 million units at $800 a unit, but what I am saying is that is substantial opportunity for,
Look, these are the numbers.
for us.
These are the numbers, and you
Yeah.
know we'll speculate on that how we will.
And it also
maybe.
helps you like kind of set the CPT like vision and narrative into market right away, because all these devices, you know, are using this technology.
Wow,
Exactly.
I totally did not understand the.
And gentlemen, can we just talk about grand strategy here? Grand strategy.
Please.
Look, we have the transmitter right here, right? So, by the way, this is their consumer goods transmitter. So it's not really high power. It's for consumer use. It's quite gentle, low power. But anyway, it turns on this, right? That's our one part. That's one part of our partnership. The second part is the Live Finder tech, right? And this thing is going to eventually have components from here. And that is how we go from selling conventional IoT devices, again, a phenomenal product, and then upgrade it to CPT. That is the grand strategy.
Yeah, I mean it's unfolding beautifully here. How
Yeah.
long do you know how long it'll be before, or is it not a time thing? Maybe it's when do you go into phase 2 of that grand strategy to where you actually start now powering the devices?
Well, I mean, phase 1 is to roll out both as quickly as possible. We already are quite advanced on some of that. I really hope that in the coming days we're going to have a huge announcement on this one. I really hope so. We're in good negotiations for this. But of course, rollout is most important. We're going to roll out everything. And when we do finally embed CPT into this, that's going to be a massive upgrade for the customers that we have. And of course, this is by itself absolutely enormous. I mean, I don't know if you guys. So I have a contact of mine. He just renovated his house, right? Because he wanted to put a new climate control system into his rather large house, let's say. It cost the electrician 1.3 million euros to upgrade his house. Why? Because it's an old house and there's like several tens of kilometers of cables that he has to like unwind to install new climate control sensors and climate control, aircon, heating, all of that. It's a big house. Okay, I'm not saying it's the average house, but the point is,
Holy, your friends are awesome.
yeah. But if the electrician had this solution, all he needs to do is to plug in the transmitter anywhere he wants, like a Wi-Fi box, and then you can put this temperature sensor wherever you want. You can even move around with it. Absolutely enormous.
Because the challenge with climate control in houses is that at the ground floor in one area where the main sensor and control panel is you'll get one reading, but in a room up in the house is like 5 degrees warmer. And
and even more than that, there was I'm not going to say who did the study, or maybe I will later on. I'll need to check with them if I can reference them. But there was a study done in Japan, which basically was like, okay, if the temperature sensor in a room, in an office block, is positioned inside the aircon unit itself, and the aircon unit itself is, say, 2, 3, 4 meters, I don't know what that is in feet, I don't know, high up, it is up there, right? And it's sensing the temperature of the top of the room. It doesn't actually sense the temperature of where people are. So that temperature difference causes inefficiencies. And when you put the temperature sensor where people are actually living, where they're working, it actually reduces the temperature fluctuations and the humidity fluctuations from the climate control system right? And that better measurement allows you to reduce, according to their study, 26 to 28% less energy fees. So it reduces your energy bills by like 28%. And when you're talking about a massive building with hundreds of rooms, thousands of rooms, maybe an airport, it really starts to make a lot of sense.
This is wild. I something I just keep thinking of in the back of my head here. You talked about the $800 unit price. You said high margins. I just got to get some clarity. Do you have a guesstimate on what margins look like, percentage wise?
Yes. I calculated them. Again, they are heavily skewed by the Life Finder product, because the Life Finder product is a very high quality premium plus product. It's an amazing product, so it's very skewed. But it's
As in the Life Finder has better margins than other
oh yeah,
products.
incredible margins, because we don't even need to make this thing.
Mm.
Right? So we don't even need to make it. So we're looking at the average margin, weighted average margin was about 65%.
Wow. Okay. I just
Again,
wanted the full
heavily
picture
skewed
here.
by this. If we're selling like way more of these than these, then it's gonna fall substantially.
Now maybe it's too early to tell. How do you foresee that going? Do you think one product's going to be the big winner, or do you think it's all going to be just roses and
I
rainbows?
believe I highly believe in this product, and it's similar. Like this is just like a design, right? Just a design of many. Like we can put it into any box you want. But this is going to be highly successful. We're talking to really big companies about it, and in our business plans, we haven't even included the marquee deals that we could sign up with this, because it's an unknown right now. But imagine if we go to an absolutely enormous customer and say, look, we'll cut you a deal, Powercast, Impulsor, you just go ahead and use the components, or we will make you the final good, you brand it as whatever your company is, and we'll just ship it out. That's millions of units. Absolutely millions of units. So I'm talking to a lot of smart sensor IoT companies right now, and of course there's phenomenal interest, because ultimately by saving batteries from landfill, that's absolutely within the agenda of a lot of these companies. Corporate social responsibility and environmental responsibility and all that. But on top of that, operationally speaking, these are a lot better. Like the other thing you can do with these is you can have transmitters all around your office block, right? And you can give these in smaller casings, and people can carry them around in their pockets. And you can then have a live feed of the environment, or where the most people are like congregating, like busy areas. There's just so much data there that can be used for optimization, and you can't have that really with batteries, because you eventually have to replace them, and it's just a nightmare.
So you can make products, basically anything that has a battery, this would be applicable to.
Absolutely, yeah, completely. Like even wired products, even wired sensors are not as good as this, because again, just like that Japanese study showed, when the smart sensor is on the wall or on the ceiling, i.e. far away from where the living environment is, you're not actually getting the real data from where people actually live or work. And it's not like you can run a cable to the middle of the room, right? You just can't do that. So this enables that ease of positioning. It is a real, truly plug and play option. The other thing, of course, is like smoke alarms and smoke detectors. I actually had a problem in my own flat, because my neighbor's smoke detector, the battery run out, and so you had to call in a bunch of people to do it. But think about it in another way: you could have these smoke alarms, which basically feed off radio frequency, being transmitted maybe even from your Wi-Fi, for example. So it's absolutely massive.
How many radio frequency transmitters do you need to cover like a house? Can it go through the walls? Can it cover the whole house? Do I need one on each floor? Do I need one right in front of the device? Curious.
It depends. It depends on the application. So if it's like a house, you're going to need one per room. If it's like a industrial building where let's say you can have a higher tolerance to the amount of exposure, electromagnetic exposure, so you can up the power, then you can get away with less. It's rather application dependent.
Interesting. What about I mean, are there any like dream brands you guys would love to partner with to get in their hands? I don't know. You threw out some.
Oh, I mean, maybe we're already talking to them. How do you know we're not talking to them already?
Well, what are your dream brands? What is like?
Well, I mean, I would love to say, but maybe that's for another time.
Fair enough.
You guys are always asking for the details that I would love to share, but I'm.
Well, Roman, you're the one
I'm
that's supposed
forbidden
to
by the communications team, basically.
Patrick's supposed to come on here, you know, kind of touch on the edges, tease us a little bit. You're supposed to just come on here and leak everything, I think, is how the
I know
right.
that is.
You're like the
so I
back
come
cop.
here, I enjoy it, I leak everything, and then I get a beating afterwards.
On that exact point, Patrick mentioned that there's a chance products would start popping up on the Impulsor website to purchase very soon. Is that true? And can you give additional context into like, am I going to be able to buy, you know, a $200 sensor or a drone or something? And then,
well, I don't know if you want a sensor. I mean, we can start shipping you a sensor whenever you want, but I don't know what you use it for really.
This is purely for demonstration.
Look, I can ship you some sensors tonight if you want, but I mean, I don't know what you do with them.
Are they going to be on the Impulsor website soon?
Yeah, so we're preparing right now product pages. So right now it's in development, and it should be up imminently. Yeah.
What kind of product pages? How do you sort these? Obviously, you're going to have like S-Drone, and I think last time you were on, you mentioned all the configurability around build your own drone, kind of like the build your own Tesla model. What other product verticals will people be doing? You know, Impulsor Light Finder, Impulsor, you know, climate control. Like what product pages are we talking about?
Okay, so there's going to be two categories effectively. The first category is going to be our industrial professional category. So in there, we're going to have stuff that consumers probably can't use or don't really want. Like, again, the smart sensor isn't really for like right now, it's not a consumer product, it's an industrial product. So the smart sensor would be up on the industrial side. The drone is going to be on the industrial side, right? Because pretty sure consumers can't be shipped a 2,000, 3,000 watt laser. I presume there's some regulations around that. I don't know. You tell me. Then we're also going to have like a consumer-friendly area where you'd have just a variety of products that you can purchase. So again, two sort of separations there: industrial, professional, and then consumer available products.
That was just actually what Andrew was asking. Is there going
B2C
to be
market? Absolutely. I love the B2C market. Oh my gosh, that is everyone's dream is the B2C market. Really, I mean, that is the number one priority for our consumer products. Absolutely.
What kind of products do consumers want with this technology?
Yeah, I mean,
are we talking headphones? Are we talking like, you know, at home like Ecobee climate control or Nest climate control? Are we talking like my laptop? I don't know. Give us a little more what's in your consumer back bucket.
Okay, well, how about this? Would Patrick or any of us, to be honest, ever settle for anything less than we'll do everything and we'll do it great?
No, of course.
So I'm not saying that we're going to release absolutely every consumer good like day one, because that's not like feasible. But we are looking to do absolutely everything in the Impulsor brand. again, that's one of our strengths: branding, marketing, design, distribution. That's one of our core strengths of the team, if not the core strength of the team. And that's why we're going to be pushing the Impulsor brand for consumer products as well.
So consumer products, Impulsor branding, and they'll be able to be purchased on the website in, Patrick said weeks. Does that feel directionally correct to you as well?
I do think weeks is possible. It's not a case of the products aren't ready. It's a case of operationally, because also to sell things online, you need certain licenses, and sometimes you can get a license in like a day. Sometimes it takes like a month. Like, it just, operationally speaking, it does sound entirely possible. I think we will hit that time frame. Again, I can't guarantee anything because you guys in the crypto world, you're expecting things like very quickly, and in the hardware real world, things just take a bit more time, like substantially more time than you sort of are used to. Which we love, by the way. We love the speed. I mean, we do, but there are some regulatory realities, hardware realities, which sometimes mix in to delay it slightly. But I do think the 2-week time frame should be sufficient.
I want to go back to the other buckets of how the collaboration with PowerCast works. There was talking about building Impulsor like specific products. Does that fit into what we just discussed here?
Well, absolutely. Okay. I mean, PowerCast for me there's basically like 3 companies worldwide who have the ability that PowerCast have, but none of them have proven themselves as successful, in my view, as PowerCast. They're really the guys. They're real trailblazers. They're great people. 21 years they've been doing this, total pioneers. And I know that with their technical background, also their manufacturing knowledge, plus our marketing, branding, commercial experience, we can make a really strong partnership. And we're not limited, thankfully, like strictly. We have a very open agreement. We understand what our roles are as partners, and nothing is off the table. Everything, in fact, is on the table. And so we're looking at industrial IoT, RF. We're looking at consumer products. We're also looking at MagRes, of course, with them as well. I even have some requests for smart induction technology that they do as well, which I consider as WPT, not CPT, but that's a little thing.
You have, so I think like we've seen like the Fortitude engine, we've kind of seen like a version of it, a mock-up. The LifeFinder device there is from that team specifically. You have this sensor in front of you today. When do you think people will be able to see the next CPT enabled headphones or whatever from the PowerCast partnership? Like, is it going to be like a 3D printout?
Guys,
and
I don't want to say too much, but it's the tech is ready, the hardware is ready. It's just about timing. It's just about, again, like getting set up operationally to make those sales. Like there's a lot of documents to fill before you start consumer sales, basically, and that's the main thing. Like, the tech is ready, the hardware is ready. We just need to just fill out those documents, get the site up and running, work out the operational supply chain, the value chain, the pricing. But anyways, that is imminent, and it's definitely going to happen.
Are you guys able to sell in the United States as well, or strictly outside of the United States?
Oh, I think I've lost audio again.
Oh, geez.
No. Oh, wait, I hear you again.
Okay,
I'm
good.
back.
Can you hear me, Roman?
Can you hear Dom?
Yes, I can hear.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, are you guys strictly barred to everything
Not anymore.
Here, Josh, maybe you can ask the question. I'm sure. you got it.
Yeah, Dom is asking just like, are you able to sell in the US? Because obviously Dom is in the US and he would like to buy some Impulsor products. So, you know, I in Canada, I guess am able to, but can Dom buy US Impulsor products?
Yeah, look, you absolutely Impulsor products, absolutely no problem. On the partnership with Powercast, we'll have to like if it's Powercast only products, we'll need to kind of have a back and forth with them just to like make sure that we're not stepping on anyone else's toes. But Impulsor products are absolutely fine. Yeah.
Josh, can you ask him if the sales have started at this point and where they're targeting first? Is it China? Like, who's the market right now?
I can't.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll coordinate. Again, Roman, it's only you that this happens. We have hundreds of interviews, never had this issue. Dom was asking if sales, and you may have already talked about this, if sales have already kind of begun, and you know, what markets are you seeing sales traction, would you say?
Oh, that is a great question. Okay, so yeah, well, basically we are. So okay, let's talk LifeFinder. LifeFinder, we're talking to some absolutely massive global companies. So if something is to be announced within the coming days or weeks, then that's going to be an instant like global kind of reach. We're all talking to global brands and companies for Powercast products. So again, if that's going to be announced within the coming days or weeks, that's again also like global. Additionally, more granular look. Of course, there's a lot of European countries, institutions, companies on the national, local level, let's say. Architectural firms that have, let's say, a specific area that they work in. Patrick's done a lot of good work in the Middle East, and we have some potentially really good announcement to make out of Africa and Asia as well. So we're really we're settling for nothing less other than just massive expansion as quick as possible. And again, that's why partnerships are very important.
Yeah,
That's Saudi money.
That's Saudi money is what Dom says. Yeah, whatever. Dom, any more questions I can relay to Roman here?
You know what? I think I'm good. Actually, this has been mind blowing. I feel like we've covered so much, and like I got these numbers now, and the numbers have brought into perspective quite a bit for me.
So Dom said he's good in questions. He likes the numbers. Now, Roman, last time you had a tablet with a bunch of data points and numbers that we were talking around the S-Throne.
I actually, funnily enough, I just dropped that tablet today and I broke it.
Oh, nice. Well, is there anything on that shattered screen that we haven't covered yet that you would like to discuss? We want to give you an open floor. We have about 10 minutes left.
On the S-Throne, that is.
On any of the products, S-Throne.
Any of the products. All right. Well, any of the products. So let's talk about again we'll start with the S-Drone and the drone solutions that we're developing. I think in about 2 weeks' time, when the product page goes up, people are going to be rather surprised in a good way. I'll leave it at that. On the magnetic resonance side, we have some really phenomenal developments. I'm like commercially speaking. I'm really looking forward to announcing them when they are ready and when the communications team allows me to do so without threatening me too much. But that's going really well. And on the Powercast side, with RF specifically, you know, there's so many phenomenal products that they have, and we're just going through each product and trying to make it happen, and I think we will. And of course, on the LifeFinder, we have potentially some massive news coming up in the next days to weeks. So it's all steam ahead.
Nice. There's a very kind of, I don't want to say controlled rollout, but a grand
strategy. It
strategy.
has to be. It has. We have to maintain control over the narrative of the communication.
I agree.
Because again, we can't. We can't announce things before they're completely finished. We can't, because again, that's part of the credibility that you build with, you know, when you're working with people like Patrick, Tim. You have to make sure that all the I's, you know, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, just make sure everything is ship shape, as Tim would say. And also, we just want to make sure that whatever we do, we're confident with. So every product we have to feel really, really comfortable about speaking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe zooming out, like CPT seems like this massive playbook in energy and IoT. Patrick did mention on our last call, because you know, MCG had put a little bit of a narrative out there around, you know, maybe this being something around defense tech, and you know, this wave of startups in the defense tech space getting premiums in the private markets. Some are about to go IPO, like Anduril, et cetera. Thoughts around the defense tech narrative at all? Is that where you think CPT is going? And what products do you think that industry will uniquely need?
Yeah, so we are, so we had a look at our structure in general, and we think we're going to be opening several subsidiaries or several like silos of like divisions or companies that look after separate like industries, like industrial applications, consumer goods, defense, what have you. And that's something that Patrick, I think, wanted to come on and talk about more. And indeed, like every single industry is very interesting to us, because again, we're replacing the fundamental element of any industry, energy. So yeah, it's all of interest. But I'll let Patrick talk more about the individual divisions or silos, however he wants to plan out that.
Awesome. And when we talk about these PowerCast products, how much energy is actually being transferred? Is it enough to power, you know, Beats by Dre headphones, or are we talking less or more? Give us the
So
energy
on
that's
the
being transferred.
Yeah, so on the RF side, so radio frequency side, we're really maxing out at maximum like 0.5 watts. So for the RF, it's really about IoT and low power devices. But it's at great distance. So we could even create, let's say, a standing, like several transmitters across a large field. Like if you need to do like an agricultural deployment of sensors where you need to deploy a smart sensor, let's say every 10 meters, we can cover the whole field basically with just a couple of transmitters. But the negative of that is we can't generate a lot of energy. So the RF is low energy. Magres is very high potentially. You can charge whatever you want with it, like literally whatever you want. So consumer goods, your vehicles, whatever. The only thing about Magres is that the magnetic field, the three-dimensional magnetic field that you're generating, has to be limited and confined. So you can't really project it that far. So let's say that's like a meter or 2 meters. I don't know what's that in feet, like 3 feet, 6 feet. Yeah. And then with laser, but with Magres, you can charge multiple devices within the same area. So if I had a Magres table, like the Magres table that I showed actually on the first episode, I can basically charge, like 8 different things on it at the same time. So when we start deploying Magres powered furniture, you buy an office table, and let's say you share an office table, like a big one with like 3 coworkers, and you got 10 devices on it, computers, lamps, phones, whatever, it's all charging at the same time. Regardless of alignment, it's just charging. And then with laser, you have extreme range, but it's more or less one transmitter, one receiver, but it's at extreme range. So that's why laser, let's say, would be for really valuable systems, whether it's a drone, aircraft, helicopter. Maybe you're transmitting from some solar panels, like at altitude down to a village, perhaps. So that's sort of maybe, let's say, strategic transfer of energy. And so we are covering there almost all of the transfer, the energy transfer that you would require.
And the on our last chat with Patrick, you mentioned about a new lab being set up in Geneva. Is this like a product lab, or are we going to see like pictures of drones being like built in a workshop or something like that? Like,
yes, yeah. So that's going to be a product lab, assembly point, and marketing point all in one. My biggest issue right now, because I'm in charge of establishing this lab, the biggest problem I have, gentlemen, is finding a place which will house like a 20 kilowatt laser. And for the government not to freak out about like burning everything down. You know, you can imagine the legal challenge. I mean, Geneva's tiny, right? It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's a real hub for science, you know, with CERN as well, and all of the international institutions, and it's a great place, but it's small. And when you say, "Hey, I want a basement that's like 100 meters long, and I want or like a warehouse 100 meters long, and I need to fire a 10, 20 kilowatt laser across it," and then to simulate range, you might need to use some mirrors to bounce it around. Some eyebrows start being raised, but hey, it's on the way. It will happen. It's just a matter of time again. Just a
I
matter of
love
time.
it. And I thought I had another laser question. Oh, the Massimo relationship, Patrick clarified, I think last time, or you did, that they were developing the optical laser component. Is that correct? Or
They develop the laser power converters.
laser power converters?
Yeah, what they basically are is a solar panel on steroids. They actually have a you know those solar plants, which basically you have like a tower, right? And you have a bunch of like
Mirrors
reflecting
that
solar
direct it.
mirrors. Yeah, they all center like one point.
Yeah.
They made a product, I think like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, a long time ago. It's like a solar cell, like this big or so. And this thing is collecting energy from like several hundreds of square meters of panels. And that thing gets real hot. So that's why like they're maybe one of 3 companies in the world that can make laser power converters to this quality. Because again, it's basically you're using the photovoltaic effect when you're doing laser CPT. It is effectively you're replacing the sun with a massive laser, and you're replacing the solar panels with a highly efficient, tuned photovoltaic cell, which is matched to the laser. So if the laser is infrared, you need to have the laser power converter matched exactly to the frequency, to the nanometer of the laser, and that's how you get massive efficiency. But again, this is a very rapidly moving industry, and there's a research institution in Germany, I think it's called Fraunhofer. They demonstrated 65% efficiency between a laser to the laser power converter. 65% is ridiculous, to be frank. I mean, DARPA was doing end-to-end efficiency of 20%, and these guys managed to do 65.
Wild.
It is wild. It's a very quickly moving industry right now, and that's why, yeah, we are also moving very quickly. That's part of a strategy. Gain partnerships, move quickly, gain market share, push the brand.
Oh no. Man, this gentleman has we always get issues around. But anyways, guys, we got to move on to the next segment there. That was good spot to wrap it. Impulsor CPT. Dom, can you bring up a quick chart of CPT just to give everyone
actually
context?
down right now. Down a good bit right now to about a 20 million valuation on paper, which, I mean, look, let's just talk about the numbers because I was very curious about the numbers.
Tom, we have like 30 seconds here. Sorry, before Lex.
I can do it in 30 seconds. Well, again, 30 million units sold in the United States in the past 24 months for PowerCast. They have distribution outside the entire United States, so they're targeting Europe. It sounded like they have about $800 per device with a high about 65% margin. So if they roll out 10 million units, 1, 2, 3, 5 million units, that still puts the valuation of the company significantly higher if you add any multiples to it than just this. So interested in CPT again. Remember, this one actually has intrinsic value, unlike a lot of the tokens. Unlike some of the tokens we've talked about, because there is that debt structure that they have going on. So nonetheless, do we want Roman to pop up and say goodbye to us? Or
yeah, we'll do Roman quick goodbye, and then we got to hop to the next segment here.
Gentlemen, thanks so much. I'm so sorry. I'm just stress testing all the tech here. That's my job.
We kind of need to do it.
Guys, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much. We'll be back on MCG Live very shortly with more updates. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you,
Roman.
All the best. Take care, guys. Take care.
Okay. Let's see. I think we got Kai in the waiting room. Do we want to do a little prep before this?
Yeah.
We gather our thoughts.
Really, no need to gather thoughts. I think we can jump right in with Lex here if you want to open up the GSD, because this is an interesting product. Get shit done. I think.
Get shit done, baby. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
Lex, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. It is bright and sunny where you are. Are you in the tropical area?
I am in Costa Rica. Yeah, I mean, it's a little overcast, but this is just what it kind of does on and off throughout the day. But it's definitely hot. I'll tell you that. It's hot and kind of humid.
Okay, I got snow falling out my window because I'm in
Where are you
Toronto,
guys?
so it's Toronto and then Dom.
I'm in Central Florida, so I get the heat too, but it's not hot right now. It's actually more like 40, 50, 60 degrees at some points, which is kind of crazy for Florida. But
yeah,
you're bright and sunny, which is wild. Costa Rica, man.
Yeah,
I would like to be there.
And also, my office where I'm set up is I would wiggle the camera, but then I'm gonna fuck it up. But there's glass windows on every side. And so I just, even on a dark day, it's just so nice and bright in here. It's like my fiance, I'm sure, would love for me to leave this room more.
I'm like the complete opposite. I'm in like a dungeon here. I got this big black thing behind me. It's like my next window's over there. And so, oof, I envy you. But nonetheless, you've been hurtled into an interesting world here. Just getting shit done these last couple of days. Can you tell us about just a whirlwind of stuff going on with you? Maybe give us some background here.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of places to start, but I think that maybe the most effective one is really just in the kind of mind fuck of this new space that I had no idea existed, which is that I've been building an open source project for Claude Code that we've almost got, I think, like 6,000 stars on GitHub. And this was like in the last month or so. And we've had some immense support from people, and people have been using it. Like, I don't come from a crypto background. I'm actually a music producer. I've been only a music producer for my entire life. I got into vibe coding with Claude Code about, within the last 2 years. But I shipped this thing, and loads of developers, like people at Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, they're all using it. This thing that was created by somebody who does not write or even read code.
The irony.
And then I kept doing these live streams talking about GSD and like getting feedback from people and trying to implement changes and make it better and all of that. But there was no desire to monetize it. Not even a desire, but like there was no plan to monetize this thing. And I kept getting all these people jumping into the group, into the chat, and being like, "Yo, man, somebody launched a crypto token for you. You need to claim your fees." And I kept just like responding to these people, being like, yeah, you're some sort of like Nigerian prince, right? And I need to like give you my credit card and mother's maiden name. And then at that point, you'll be able to just deposit this money into my account. And this went on for like 2 days or so. And one day I woke up, checked my Instagram messages, and I had like 100 messages from people all saying the same kind of thing. And on one particular message, some guy linked to the Steve Yegg article on Medium about how this Bags FM thing launched for Gastown. And like the first couple of paragraphs basically just described my mental state. And he was saying how, you know, he told his wife, he told his friends, and they were all just like jaw dropped on this bizarre situation. And so eventually I did actually look into Bags app, saw that I could sign in with my GitHub OAuth, and there was like 3K just like sat there that I did it. I was like, fuck it, why not? We'll give it a go. And then boom, went straight into a wallet. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is fucking real. And since then it's just been insane. Like definitely diving into the deep end of this like whole crypto Twitter world. Like it's new to me, lads. I'll tell you that for sure.
Welcome. You're in good company. So this is a great space.
It's what are your high energy, and it's a reason to be on the internet. I'll tell you that.
Look, it'll keep you going, and they'll make sure you keep going. That's for sure. What are your like initial first thoughts of these internet capital markets, kind of just funding for open source projects? We've had some fascinating conversations just before you today about how this might be a new primitive for actually funding open source projects, which maybe would have gone unfunded for a while. And I'd just love to hear your thoughts on this primitive in general.
I think it's fascinating. I've seen a lot of controversy around this kind of thing on Twitter. Of people always love to talk on both sides of it. But I think from the side of somebody who is not, I'm not gambling, I'm not playing the game. Although I am one of the biggest holders of the coin now because I believe in actually what I do with GSD. But that being said, I'm not buying and selling. I'm not doing all of that. So speaking only from the perspective of somebody who's receiving fees for other people gambling on the success of the take up and the adoption of what it is that I'm building, I think it's fucking incredible. And if this is such early days in this new kind of landscape of where, like, I didn't have to give permission to anyone to go and tokenize my project. I didn't even have to give permission for them to create like an on-chain contract that I would receive fees. I think this is mind-blowing. And a little bit of background as well. Like, as I said, before I got into this whole vibe coding thing, I've been a music producer. I've had a great success, toured the world, been doing this for over a decade, and I've had a lot of fun. That being said, despite having like millions and millions of listeners throughout the years, and I've got 75 million streams on all of my tracks. Wow. It's hard to even
75 million streams?
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
Dude, what kind of music are you producing? Is there
I make house music, like organic kind of world disco house music. But the thing is, like, the majority of my income, even with like big streaming numbers, came from shows, from touring. I live in Costa Rica now, and it's a lot harder to it takes me 6 hours to get to the airport. I don't want to go there. And so in many ways, it's like made it a lot harder. Even when I was living in LA, like it's hard, even with millions of streams, to actually support yourself as an artist consistently, because things like Spotify just come in and they piss all over you, and you get a relatively small amount. And anyway, a few years ago, I got into, for a short while, being a degenerate gambler on crypto, and I lost a lot of money and left with nothing, no lessons, other than maybe don't do that again. But what I can say is that it did spark this idea of, I had this idea. I was like, I don't know how this could exist, but I would love if somebody were to come up with a way that you could tokenize artists. And effectively, you could invest and create like a commodities market around the growth of that artist. Maybe it would be linked to streams. Maybe it would be linked to like how much music they put out. But just to take this concept of like, okay, well, we're gambling on a meme right now. What if we were to gamble on an artist? And anyway, I gave it no thought really, other than it was just this little spark. And I was like, that would be a cool future. So flash forward to now, and a couple of days ago, I wake up to this thing. It's like, I see it's not just people creating these bags coins for open source projects. It's for YouTube accounts. It's for the guy who created, what was it? Like, I saw something hilarious the other day. The guy who created the original, I don't know, it's blanking, but something funny. Was Clippy, the guy who created Clippy. Yes, yeah, exactly. And so I was just like, man, this is an incredibly exciting space. And the only issue I see with it is just the attention span of what I see in the crypto Twitter space already, is that there's just like the fine line that has to be trid, whatever, on, how do you create a system where people want to buy in and not just like ride this like hype train to just buy and dump? How do you create lasting value for people? And I have no answer to that. But to sum up your question, I think that this is just like a really, really cool new meta in the world of like, how do we invest in the ideas that we believe in without all of the red tape of, you know, starting a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter, all of that kind of bullshit. So yeah, it's nuts.
Okay. No, this is great. And we'll brainstorm a little bit together, maybe a little later on the lasting value that maybe you can add or some thoughts we have, whatever. But let's talk about the GitHub here. Let's talk about GSD and what it actually is. You built this as someone with very little developer background, which just I think is a testament to how incredible vibe coding and Claude Code has gotten. It's like mind blowing. Anyone with an idea can really get shit done if they wanted to. Can you tell me about GSD here and what exactly it is? How did it blow up for those that are unfamiliar?
So I've been, should we say, quote unquote, vibe coding for coming up to 2 years now. I started doing like really shitty, primitive garbage, just like inside of the Claude desktop app, copy and pasting code files out in VS Code. And so I've seen, like, I downloaded Windsurf the day that it came out, downloaded Cursor very early on. So like I jumped right on the train, even with no developer knowledge, just because I was like, this feels really, really, this is like an area that I think there's no going back now, you know? And so I started doing that and I jumped straight into trying to build these complex apps. I was like, I'm going to build the next community app. I'm going to build a chatbot that remembers all of your history, can help reflect back your life's patterns and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I tried doing all these things, and the first few conversations with the chat, like scaffolding the project, it seemed to work quite well, you know? Oh, brilliant, yay, progress, dopamine, we're getting somewhere. But everything invariably just kept tumbling into this pit of I didn't understand the code base, but also more importantly, Claude or Cursor, they had no idea what they'd written either. And so I kept doing this. I kept running into these issues where I was just building garbage that eventually I would just have to throw away. And this just, you know, slowly but surely, I realized that the thing that I needed to work on was not really the projects I was building, but the framework I was using to build the projects. Because if I'm not going to read or write the code, and I still have zero interest in doing either, I need to make sure that I'm setting it up so that my never sleeping, never eating, never complaining AI companion doesn't just like get to write the code, but to have like a dramatically improved understanding of the context, not just of what it's doing right now, but everything it's done in the past and why it did it. And again, the key thing here is I don't need to understand any of that. I don't need to know why you fixed that bug. Even the bug turned up. I just need to create a system where it allows Claude to continuously just know where it is. You know, because right now, a lot of people, they're using Claude Code, they jump in, they have a 200K context window that oftentimes is like massively reduced because they saw some YouTube video that told them to install all these MCP servers, and now they have only a 100K context window. They start trying to build something, and then they get to the dreaded, I'm going to be concise now with my context limit, and the code quality becomes garbage. So they have to start a new chat, at which point there's no memory.
I want to dig into this because what you talked about there is that your process of building these products and apps were what you worked on instead of the apps themselves, like the community app. And I hear this gentleman, Sahar B, I get other shit done while my team of agents work. So basically, you know, I'm like you, not a developer. We don't like MCG doesn't even have a website, for God's sake. So we would show up to this and basically describe what we want. And all of a sudden GSD is doing it for us. And when you say get shit done, that means I'm focused on MCG while this thing's building me a website.
Yes. Although there is one key caveat here, and that is that I'm sure, I mean, I don't even need to say, I wonder if you guys have heard of Ralph. A lot of people are like stoked on these Ralph loops. And while I think that the philosophy behind it is epic and it really demonstrates a lot of the cutting edge powers of these models, the problem with it is that it kind of eradicates one of the key parts, I think, of like, if you are going to have quality vibe coded products, what's missing between quality and non-quality, or even like special and just mediocre, is human input. Because at the end of the day, it's not about like, yes, AI can build products right now. And it could probably go and follow all sorts of patterns online. But what makes something special and unique is your input, your stakes in the game, you know? And, you know, we could get kind of meta about this and say that the decisions we make come from the entire life experience that we've had, like the comic books we read as a kid and where we used to go on holiday with our parents. All of these things shape our unique individual view of life itself. And I think these are the things that they come together to ultimately mean when you make a song, when you create a product, when you even cook a curry for someone, all of these things overlap. And the core part is that you're giving your input, the things that mean stuff to you. So where am I going with this ramble? The key thing about GSD compared to a lot of these other flows that I see is that it always helps you communicate what it is that you want to do. It never just says, okay, I'll do that. It says, how do you envision that? What is it that you're trying to build? Is it like this, or this, or tell me if you see it differently? And this is right from when you initialize a project. You run GSD new project and it says, what do you want to do? And you say, I want to build a web app, for X. It's not just going to run with that. It's going to help you unpack that into a clear vision of what it is that you want. At which point it then moves on to the next stage and it does deep research into the actual domain necessary. So I don't want to go and learn what tech stack would be best for this. Obviously, I would like to be able to understand why we've picked that. So then it goes and does deep research. Then it comes back and it says, okay, based off of these findings, here are my proposed requirements, feature requirements, like users would have to be able to have an account and sign in. Is this on the roadmap? Yeah, it is. Users would be able to have to X, Y, and Z. So you then form this requirements of, okay, this thing that you want to build, what would need to be true for it to be a success for you? At which point it then goes and creates the roadmap. And after the roadmap, you have the ability to then plan out and execute these phases. And you could just do it like that. Planning is an incredibly comprehensive process that takes the requirements, the project document itself, reads the roadmap and goes and researches specifically how to implement the task at hand. It then plans it. It then checks the plan, that the plan would satisfy the requirements. And all of this is hands off, guys. But the key thing here as well is that when you plan a phase, let's say, for example, we're creating an admin dashboard for a product. There's a lot of gray areas in saying, build me an admin dashboard. What does that mean? What is it? Cards? Is it table form? So this is where I created the discuss phase part before the plan phase, where it effectively looks at the roadmap and it says, what are every gray area here? Should the button be square? Should it have rounded edges? Describe to me the UX. Should clicking a heart automatically update? Should users be able to reply infinitely nested? I'm just going off random examples here, but once you're done with that, it creates this context file that basically sums up not any technical requirements, no code-based stuff, but user requirements. How will this need to feel? How will it need to operate and work? So that when you then plan it, the research doesn't just take into account what's needed on the roadmap and the requirements to satisfy the truth of this completed project, but your unique desires of how this thing should look, feel, and operate. And so you just keep going through this. There's plenty of other features to it, but to wrap this up as a quick concept, the way that I explain GSD to like my mum or random friends who come over who have no idea about tech is, when we started using AI to write code, a lot of people like myself who have no technical background, we would say almost like, yo, to a friend, I need you to build me a house. And then we'd fuck off and we'd come back. The house would be in shambles. There would be no foundations. We'd have no planning permission. And we would get irritated because our friend did a bad job. Now, maybe we should have picked a better friend or a contractor, but what GSD does is it says, before you walk away, it says, okay, cool, you want to build a house, describe the house to me. Tell me everything about that house. And then it goes, okay, in order to make this house exist, in order for you to have those beautiful sachet windows or whatever, what would we need to do? Well, you need planning permission. So that should be first. And so what happens is along the stage, it breaks down a giant goal, which we could call a milestone, into a roadmap of multiple phases. So that would be, the first one would be, legal shit in this context of building a house. We need all of this planning permission to be approved in order for us to actually go and lay foundations. You can't put windows on with no foundation. So it breaks it down into these steps. And then from that,
is GSD going and doing those like permitting process, or is that where human interaction is needed to like actually go and call the city and like do that as an example?
Yeah, I mean, any kind of things that put it this way, the way that I set it up is that anything that it can do on its own, it must. So It's autonomous to an extent, unless there is something that really requires user interaction. And just like the final note on that is that imagine I were to ask you to build a house. I were to give you all of these plans, but after each time that you did it, I wiped your memory and I burnt all of your notes. It would be very difficult to do these things if you had no track record of the tasks you've completed and the decisions you've made along the way. So in short, GSD is the system that, who made this? This is fucking rad, by the way.
I have no idea. Someone in the community. It's so sick.
Yeah, this is rad. I love that. But it takes complex tasks, it breaks them down into such a way that you do not have to think about anything, and then it builds it. And it allows you along the way to verify that these things work, and if they haven't, it fixes it.
Can you give me a practical example? Hey, I'm going about my day. Maybe I'm Dom, maybe I'm Lex here, whatever it is. I'm going about my day. Give me some practical examples of what this thing is cooking up.
So right now, a lot of the things I end up doing is using GSD to optimize GSD. So, I'll cook up some new milestone. I'll take some of the GitHub issues that people have requested and I'll explore those. And then I'll just implement it while I go away for lunch. But the funny thing is GSD didn't come about because I was trying to launch this thing. Music producer, I make a lot of, I've bought a lot of plugins over the years, like musical tools and stuff. And I got really into the idea of being like, okay, well, if anything is built with code, you could probably vibe code it. And so I was like, well, why don't we try and vibe code plugins? This is the next step on from my shitty attempts at making crappy communities and like kind of awful websites. And so I started doing that. And the quality of the plugins I made was just garbage. And so I realized if I wanted to start making plugins, similar to what I was saying before, I would have to come up with a system that could do it. Because I did find, after lots of trial and error, things did work. How do I systematize this so I don't ever run into the same problems again? All this to say is that eventually I made, you can see that video right there. This is a plugin that I launched that we've had some epic support. I don't know if you know Sasha, the DJ, but he's like one of the trance legends. Like his team are going to be using this on the next album. I had one of the producers of Radiohead in Rainbows reach out. We've had like huge support from these big producers who are using it and loving it. It's a testament to the fact that vibe coding isn't always slop. But all this to say, like I made these couple of plugins and I was like, okay, well, how do I sell this thing? Because I can't just give it to people and say, please don't share it with other people. So I had to build a licensing system. Had to build all of these systems that like pro plugin companies have. And so GSD was the accidental build of how I built my synth and plugin company. I built this framework that would allow me to build my plugins and to build the backend for the system. And eventually I just realized I should just pop this up as like an open source project. And originally it was just called Plan and Do. And it was something I was just like running in the background. I renamed it, tightened it up a little bit, put it up. But the irony is that I didn't build it to share with the world. It was like the remnant of having already built a successful, in 30 days, I turned over $35,000 with this synth company. And like that was real money, real users. I think we've got like 700 and something customers now.
Jeez.
And
wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way that I could see it as well is it's like you don't have to go and build a web app. If you want to just create some sort of automation that could do X when Y happens, GSD can help you do that. You want to go and do deep research into something, you want to do analysis of some sort of thing, and you want to you want to write a book, you could do that. Because the goal here isn't to build software. The goal is to use software to achieve goals.
This is wild. I think it really goes to show that the future of products is going to be like niche professionals that are really good at one thing and they find a problem and they build a fantastic solution for it. And like there will be all these little businesses spun up where it just solves one specific issue just like this at a very high level. And I think that's fascinating. Like, what?
Dude, you just wiped like tens of billions of dollars off Salesforce and like all these SaaS companies' market share, just so you know. Just with that statement alone, you know.
It's funny because like, you know, I use Google for a lot of things. I don't know if anybody on earth really can manage to shortcut Google these days, but one thing I fucking hate is Google Workspace. You know, if I want to have an email account, in the past, I thought that the only way that you could be like a pro is to have a Google Workspace so you can create your at whatever domain name that you've bought. And then you're sort of just like vendor locked in, raped by them on an annual basis. So when I started Sequence, I said to GSD, I was like, I hate Google. What are my solutions? And so I built a custom email system that allows me to have as many inboxes as I want, and allows me to have like programmatic and just total awareness of the emails that come in, but also like the code base behind it. And so anytime I run into an issue nowadays where either I don't like the company that I'm paying $30, $50, $200 a month to solve a problem for me, or I've just run into a new problem where in the past I would have gone and found a company to solve my problem for me. I approach it from the beginning and I go, what's my problem? How do I solve it? And then once I've solved it, how do I solve it even more? And how do I own effectively the entire stack of this? Even if I am sometimes using like, certain services for it, how do I consolidate the control so that I don't ever end up with a situation where like my data is locked into one company? I come from this perspective now where it's like, and I actually said this on a video the other day where it's like, I think the responsibility as a vibe coder nowadays is for you to assume categorically that everything is possible. You must go into it assuming that you can do anything. And I think this is a good mindset to have in life in general. But I think when you're approaching things with AI now, you cannot be bound by what even the internet says. Even if Claude says to you that something can't be done, push it, because I guarantee you it can.
So I got to ask, because there's like billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, that are locked up in the valuations of mini apps and like Calendly type things and all these services. Like, what happens to all of that? Do you think it's just like everyone just has their own version of these products that are instantly spun up as soon as they need to use them?
I mean, I think there's always going to be people who have no interest in development, even if they have like a fancy little UI where it's like, what do you want to build? And like nice UI animations. A lot of people are still going to just default to what's been done in the past. Adoption of new tech is slow. Most people still do stupid shit and will continue to do it even when they have proof in their face that it would be better to do it themselves. So I don't think, at least for the next decade, people are actually really going to start moving into this realm on the mainstream of being like, I can solve all my own problems. Because also I think fundamentally, like how I said before, that it's a good mindset to have, that you can do anything. A lot of people actually have just pretty negative mindsets in life in general. And so people will be held victim, not just by their circumstances, but by big tech and corporations and governments and all sorts of things. That being said, I think what's cool about this space is that a lot of people jump into my Reddit comments and they say, yeah, but if anybody can just create a plugin, why wouldn't I just create your plugin and not buy it from you? And I say, do it, man. Cool. Fully to you. Like, that's what I want. I want people to understand how much power they have to do what they want. At the end of the day, I'm not making things because, like, obviously I want income. Obviously I want to make money from my efforts, but I make things because I like them and I use them. And if other people want to use them too, that's dope. But
are you making money on besides like the token itself and the fees? Like, are you making money off GSD products? You mentioned the synth one, but do you have other products out there?
For now, it's just sequence.music, which we have 3 plugins, one Mac app that is a pretty kooky idea. It algorithmically changes text into MIDI so that you can play music as sentences. So like you can just type words in. We had a lot of support on that. And then there's a couple of actual like VST plugins that work in your DAW. That in and of itself is a profitable business that I'm going to continue to keep adding plugins to. I'm still working on some other things to put out, but by no means am I seeing it as like my only business will be that. Right now, I wake up every day and I go, what now? What today? What should we do? And like having this deep-seated knowing in your gut that like the only thing between me and my next successful product is just me sitting down and doing it. It's just like such a wholesome and enriching feeling to start the day with. Just knowing that it's like, I encounter any problem, and nowadays let's say for example, you run into any problem throughout the day. So long as it is not something that truly cannot be handled by AI at this moment, like I still have to take out the trash, still got to brush my teeth, those kind of things. I've still got to take a shit. All of that stuff I can't hand off to Claude. But anything that I could answer the question, can it be done with code? And the answer is yes. At this point, I just build solutions to it. I can do it in a morning. Like for example, I got really tired of tweeting. Like I only really just got back on Twitter in these past couple of days, and I'm obviously doing shit to GSD. I'm working on stuff while I'm live streaming, and I don't want to have to like think about what I've done. How do I form this into a tweet and post it on my Twitter? So I created an MCP server that interfaces with my Twitter. And so like this tweet just below that, like scroll down one, One below that, maybe. Yeah, this one. Today I had Claude 2. This was like while I was live streaming right now, and I just got it to effectively take what we were doing in the chat and format it in a way to let everybody know what I'm doing right now. And I literally just say tweet. It gives me a draft. I say, say this, don't say that, and press push. Like I could tweet right now while I'm talking, and I can just do it direct from the terminal. So like, again, what kind of problem did I have? I was bored of tweeting already. Like I was
from
bored
the
of
terminal. When you mention terminal, is this like a website?
It's where I'm
that I
running
go
Claude
to?
code. So
Okay,
in a
where you're running.
GSD project, we're like working on something, or just even like just using terminal, like using Claude code in it. I could even just say like, analyze this code base and make a tweet about like how it works.
And it'll send it. It'll just send it out.
Send it. Boom, send it. But it doesn't automatically send it. It gives it to me for approval first, because as much as I'm into this whole AI can help you with content generation, I don't ever want to get to the point where you're just completely removing your brain or any kind of sense of taste from it. I can sign off on this in the same way as if I had an assistant. I was like, my time is worth more making things than it is tweeting about things. If I had an assistant, I'd be like, dude, what are we working on right now? Post an update for the community. I think that's a pretty fair use of time.
Yeah. We got to talk a bit about the token here. Obviously, your product is open source, and I think you said something earlier where it's like, well, why can't someone just spin up the same thing? Well, I think now you've had an established community, it's open source, so like they can't really just do that because they don't have the contributors and stuff. Can you tell us about how valuable open sourcing this product is, and then we'll get into maybe the token and how you can reward contributors going forward and other things maybe.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, the way that I see it right now is that if somebody wants to come along and fork GSD and make GSDB, get shit done better, bully to them, feel free, run with it. If it's better than mine, I'll probably end up using it. But at the same time, like, I think that the moat is the constant updates. The moat is that like I'm listening to the community. I have thousands of people. What did we have? Like 28,000 downloads this month alone. Like the moat is that I have feedback from people. And this isn't just me in isolation in an ivory tower anymore, deciding on what this thing should be. And so like we have constant community updates on it. And I think the power of open source is that the kind of people who are into submitting GitHub issues and like creating pull requests, these are people who are just inherently offended by mistakes in such a loving way. They're inherently offended by bugs that they could see need to be fixed. And so the power of this kind of mindset is that 24/7, I have people helping me help the world with this. And this just would not be possible if GSD was this like paywalled tool that I was like, you know, people have far less of a vested interest in improving something that they pay for. You know, they almost just like demand it be better. But when something's free, they want to jump on and like support. And it's just amazing. It really is.
What are GitHub stars? I see everyone talking about GitHub stars. Low Cap Hunter, shout out you. I see you in our replies. What are GitHub stars and yeah.
A GitHub star is like, you know, you find a Git repo, and a star is in some ways it's like a like, you know, but the difference between a GitHub star and a like is the difference between a GitHub star and like an Instagram like, for example, is I would say that likes in many ways are pretty disposable. You know, when you're just doom scrolling, it's very easy to just double tap. The reason you would start a Git repo is because it provides interest to you, or it provides some sort of value. That's not to say that all 5,700 people in there like starred it because they implemented it and they tried it out. A lot of people star things because they want to basically just support and add it to their list of things that they're interested in. But I feel like the difference between trying something out and not, like, that you'd have to have a reason to star something. I don't star something unless I've downloaded it, played around with it, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. You know, so I think it proves that people are getting real value from this. Also, 625 forks. That's people who have now forked the repo because they're trying to create their own version or like play around with it, which is just rad.
Insane. What about the token? You got this token now. You're kind of making money off of fees. I think you're making good money today off of fees.
The token's going wild. It's like $6 million.
We had a giant spike when we guys started this. There was like a big green candle.
Yeah, love to see that. So
how much
what
also a percentage that you own of the token? Like, give us the quote unquote tokenomics.
I think that I'm fourth biggest holder. I was third biggest. I have 2.05% of the token. And one quick note as well is that I have a vested interest in not selling, and not selling at all. And why is because so long as I can stay proper bullish on this and show that I'm not here to sell these tokens to make a profit. I'm here to make sure that one of the biggest holders is somebody who isn't selling. And so long as the coin keeps getting traded, so long as we see this play on the token, I'm making fees. I don't want to go and short, I don't want to go fuck that up, So in my mind, the fact that I can now pull up my bags and I can see this is such a lovely thing to look at. It's I just pull up my bags and I think I invested maybe 11K. Oh, I've disappeared. Oh, there we go.
You're full screen now.
Nice. My 11K is now worth 123K on that token. I see this as $0. I'm not selling that. This is just proof that I'm staying involved. And again, I'm not gambling on this. I'm not here to buy and sell. If I do buy any more, it's just for whatever reason that was. But to anybody who is holding, I'm not selling. And if this keeps going up, I make damn good money on these fees. And I'm stoked off of the fees.
No, the fees are insane. So how are we going to use this? Obviously, now you have a product, you have really good traction. It's it's bootstrapped. There are fees going into it. You can basically do whatever you want to build this out now. How are you planning to use some of these fees? Do you have a plan to use the token? Obviously, we see people in the chart saying, look, senior devs love this from Apple, Google, Amazon workflow. The numbers are skyrocketing. 5K downloads to 28K downloads in 1 month, 698 stars to 5.7K. Would you make this token get it? Hey, you have to have X amount of GSP to actually use GSD to actually use Get Shit Done technology. What are the plans? Some thoughts that have been swirling around.
Get Shit Done Enterprises taking over the world. What's going on, man?
At the moment, there's no plan to add any utility beyond what it is right now. The reason why is because for the moment, I see GSD as without the little $ before it. The open source code project, still very early days. We're still going on it. This isn't that there will never be any kind of update to this, but the way that I'm using these fees right now, and a lot of people are very happy about, is that this is supporting me going full time. And so I invested, obviously, of the 63,000 that I've made so far, I invested 11,000 of them back into it. I'm also every now and then I'll do, I just did a 24-hour 50 or is it 100x boost on Deck Screener. So I am investing some of these things as well into just helping get visibility on the coin. But for now, I'm just seeing this as a chance to be able to really go all in on building what I believe to be, at the moment, the most effective Claude Code framework that there is out there for people who want to see ideas through to completion.
So my question for you on Bags app, number one, is this the future of internet capital markets? Is this how open source gets financed in the future? And what are some takeaways, some key learnings maybe you would share to the next person? What do you think can be improved? What do you think's bad? What do you think's good about Bags app?
I think that the kind of circling back to my point at the beginning of there's a lot of ADHD kind of vibes I see in the CT world, which is what makes it fun, right? It's but what's new? What's 50,000% up today? So I think while this is really helpful, there are a lot of people who are supporting GSD who don't use GSD, and that's rad. That's really cool. However, I also feel like there are a lot of people who use GSD who would not invest in the token because of the way that it is positioned, that it's still a very meme-based infrastructure, And I think, actually, before I got on this call, I helped my mum buy some GSD. She officially now owns, I think, 6 Solana of GSD, which is rad. But I think this is a testament to how difficult it is to get into this thing. Because she had to go and create a Kraken account. She had to then buy Solana. She didn't know what a wallet was. So she then had to send it to her, and I guided her through the process. And that's all well and good. But I think one of the biggest things that could happen for this realm is to make this easier for people to be onboarded into this, and maybe make it easier on some kind of centralized exchange for it, where it could just be straight dollar value. And if you could just buy dollars attached to it and extract dollars and not have to worry about the added volatility of Solana going up and down, this very much is something that I think in the next decade could be a really interesting space of okay, cool. Well, how do we let people invest in ideas? And how do we let people benefit from investing early in ideas? And I don't just mean VCs, but I mean somebody who finds something on Instagram, some creator that's making beeswax candles, and they love this creator and they want to invest in it. And they want to see effectively dividends as that person grows their beeswax candle making business. I think that would be helpful. And so pegging the value of this to the dollar and creating some sort of infrastructure where it's not based off of just these okay, how do I create a wallet to send this? you know, and by dollar, I mean USDT or something, you know, like pegging it. So you would still need to, we are still talking crypto here.
Yeah.
But I think
you could get liquidity pools that are based on dollars. And if you need help with that, like our partner of our show is Meteora. So they're all the underlying trading infrastructure. Yeah, we're kind of like their live stream division, if you will. So we could make a relationship there to the Meteora
yeah, that would be
team,
rad.
and they might be able to help you out on a technical level, kind of set these things up.
That's right. I did see there's MEXC, you know, it's like they now have GSD pegged to USDT, which is cool.
Yeah, MEXC is an exchange that has a kind of varying history of, you know, good actor, bad actor. Some of the exchanges are a little dicey, but the on-chain, you know, like the infrastructure layer, Meteor, what they've built is
I see, like actually on-chain, you mean?
Yes,
yeah,
you can
so
have
everything that
pools
happens. These centralized exchanges are all transacted off chain. You can't track them. It's not like it's off chain. So it's like
they hold the user funds.
I see.
On chain is held in a physical wallet, transacted through the blockchain. You can see everything. It's held in your custody.
To you.
Yeah.
Rad. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, this if my only addition to my previous comment then is like if this evolves into being something that can still be like fully Web3 mindset based, everything is as it is to the best of ability, but regular normcore people can just easily buy in and support their heroes, support creators doing things that make sense to them. Here's a great point that I must actually make, is that a lot of people have their argument about AI is that AI is coming to steal everybody's job. And then what does the average person do? You know, how do you go and find a new job? And I have a kind of maybe a little bit, some people say a controversial opinion, which they say, well, if your job can be taken by AI, you're not doing anything meaningful enough with your life. And second of all, now you have a lot of time to go and figure out what to do that's meaningful with your life.
Yeah.
And if this can empower a next wave of creators being able to be like, okay, well, there is a roadmap for me to be able to go full time with whatever your weird passion is, I guarantee you there are plenty of people online that want to support you do it. If this is a way to be able to do that in a transparent and safe way, this is the future.
No, absolutely.
Pretty crazy stuff. You know, you actually said something a little while ago that I wanted to touch on. You said, I feel like most people are going to go to big brands to build stuff because they don't want to, and it's probably going to take a decade. You know, I'd actually push back. I think I saw even my parents and family and friends who are not even in the tech world adopt AI and use it every single day, you know, in the last year and stuff. And I think maybe that adoption curve is actually going to happen quicker, where I think if it's easy enough, if the UI is smooth enough, and someone can literally just go log on and build whatever they need to, I do think that adoption would happen quicker than a decade. So I don't know.
Holy GSD is $7 million.
Oh my God, we're about to hit an all-time high, I guess. Or maybe we hit 7.9 at one point.
What is going on? This is wild.
Yeah, it's also been interesting as well. Like over the past few days, obviously we've had some dips. We've dropped down, and some people are jumping in being like, why is it not going up? And so I suppose it doesn't always, but we've held a pretty good floor. You know, there's clearly like a core group of people that are like, yeah, we're not going below here. This isn't done yet.
Yeah, well, I think people have realized it all comes down to the founder, right? There's the two buckets. It's either the guy that comes in, takes some money and dips, or there's the guy that's like, hey, I'm going to rock this out. This is pretty cool. I think you showed that you're going to rock it out. And I think you showed that you're willing to work with the community, do whatever you can to support this and like make it into a thing that people like. And so clearly that's been noticed, right? And in many cases, the chart's at 0. And in some cases it holds like this. It's not always going to be sunset shining rainbows, but there is a clear bucket and you're in hopefully the good bucket, I think is what you could call it. So
maybe back to this angle, like one thing we talk about in this theme of, you know, we cover ownership tokens. That's kind of like where we've built our show off of, which is this idea that, and we've seen examples in crypto of this, like product has token, product and equity get acquired by another entity for, you know, money, $100 million, let's say, and the token holders don't get any of that upside. In fact, the token just crashes to 0 and there's no kind of legal tie in there. Have you thought, and I know this is really early for GSD, but have you thought what the, you know, enshrining some sort of like actual legal value into the token itself? Like, hey, this token represents all the IP of this like GitHub repo or something like that.
fascinating question, and not one that I think that I'm not either at this point intelligent or well versed enough on the space to talk to. But what I can say from a value perspective of where I come from is I'm very much a, should we say, freedom first, accountability, should we say, like, being a good person, doing things that are right. I'm very anti-government. I'm very anti the notion that people should control other people. And so I think that the decisions that I make for this entire thing will always be coming through a value perspective on how do we do what's right for humanity, rather than how do we do what's right for corporations? How do we do what's right in such a way to make these things always look forward rather than defaulting to what's been done in the past? So again, I'm by no means intelligent enough in this space to give you any answer beyond.
No, and that's a
that.
great answer too, by the way.
Yeah, just note that the decisions upon which I make will be based on a fundamental value of that at the end of the day, I want to do what's right for humanity. And by humanity, that doesn't just mean everybody on Earth, but I mean people who are involved. You know, I want to do what's right.
No, and to those that are watching, especially crypto investors, like often betting on people is more important than betting on technology or even narratives. It's like the people are the ones that make things happen, and value alignment is important. Obviously in AI, maybe that's not so true, but you know, generally speaking, it's all about value alignment.
Yeah, makes sense.
I actually look over here too. I see Bags just reposted GSD making new all-time highs here. Are you in contact? Yeah. Are you in contact with Finn? Have you talked to Finn from Bags at all? Give him a feedback.
We had a little DM back and forth when he was helping me try and get the link on Bags updated to the new Twitter, but we haven't actually talked much. I watched a little bit of, because I didn't really know anything about this. So like I watched a little video on YouTube of him having like an interview with this guy the other day, and it's a very interesting realm. He seems like a very curious character to get to know. Again, right now I don't really have anything other than to say about him, other than he's clearly done something quite cool, and he's been very helpful in helping me sort out the issues that were preventing GSD from working in the way that it should, such as, you know, wrong community links and all of that kind of shit. Dex Screener was being a bit of a dick and wasn't updating the link, and you know, it was all handled very nicely. So, you know,
we're sponsored by Moby Screener, so shout out Moby. They're good people.
Moby Screener,
Dex Screener,
okay,
adjacent kind of thing. Yeah, I would say, you know, make sure you give some valued feedback to Finn, because I think there's a lot of founders we've had on here, especially from Bags today, that share a lot of the same feedback. And I think it would be beneficial for, you know, Finn to know that going forward. And yeah, I would say try to forge that relationship if you can. But
yeah,
I don't know, Lex. I think I've covered a lot of bases here that I wanted to. It's pretty fascinating to see what you're doing. It's kind of inspired me to go and get some shit done.
Dude, download it.
Niche stuff. I need to, dude. I need to get into vibe coding. I'm seeing everyone do it. You know, Frank D Gods is a crypto guy, and I've seen his like journey into vibe coding, saying every day I log on, I'm on like day 35 now, where I log on trying to see what Claude can't do, and I still can't find anything it just can't do.
That's the shit.
Pretty incredible to see. But
I still need an MCG website. But man, look, we're very we are very much like you. We started live streaming last year, just kind of making it happen. We've built this kind of business, and you know, all just on the internet. And so we really appreciate your time. Let's stay in contact. We'd love to follow your journey, but also, you know, we can get you hooked up to the guys at Meteor and set up some stable coin pools. And they do some of the infrastructure like Moonshot as an app is built on. And so that's like a lot more easier of a user experience that your mother could use, like download the app and like put your credit card in, and then all the things that happen on the, you know, the on-chain stuff, it kind of makes it easy. So
yeah,
but yeah, happy to
awesome.
help out.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a lovely chat.
Yes,
awesome.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you guys. Much love.
Easy.
Happy rest of your day.
Thank you.
as well.
Cheers, gang. Bye.
And that's the interviews for today. Josh, what are you thinking?
Holy, all right. I'm not gonna lie. I went into these Bags app interviews today, not sure of what Bags app was happening. Like, Again, we've covered all the Meteor Launchpad eco, and then now I'm impressed. I'm very, very, very impressed. Some of the like this guy is not a developer, and he's coming on saying, "Look, I've built all these things with this product. You know, Mag 7 company developers are using this." Like, I don't know, Dom. What do you think?
I think it's pretty wild. I obviously I'm still critical of bags. I think there's obviously a big issue with people just taking the money and running. There's an issue with sustainability. But the truth is they've got something. And again, I keep referring to this Peter Thiel keynote that he gave at one of the Ivy League schools, where he talks about the best way to build a monopoly is by niching down. I think right here we've talked to 3 developers who had open source products go viral and people launch tokens from because they think it's cool and make a ton of money. And I think the key here for Bags is, hey, okay, we see the product fit. We know who it's going towards. This is what people like. Sure, there are some memes that people like, but it's the open source stuff. So how can we go and focus on getting funding to open source projects, which typically have a very hard time to do that? And how can we enshrine some sort of value accrual to holders, right? Is it a contract? Is it a treasury? Is it a MetaDAO structure? Is it an ownership structure? Whatever it is. But hey, we have a solution to our open source projects that are really cool, but lack funding. Well, we can get them funding. We can get them to have people to contribute. We can make a whole job industry out of this. But we also need to guarantee sustainability for holders and give them some shared upside. So again, it goes back to what I wrote down here in some of my notes from today. And it's the life cycle is get funding, right? Show people you value their product. They go and claim it. And now they build cool apps and they share the spoils of what they build with the community. But it needs to be in a legally enforceable way or a treasury or something to be sustainable. But I think it's a really cool start. So I think I found a newfound love for what Bags is doing, specifically for providing value to the open source community and really cool products that, you know, have bootstrap communities already. I just think we need to maybe really get down to the brass tacks of, hey, can we make this sustainable for holders and get rid of the bad actors and the grifters that we see come through every time something like this happens and take our money and run away? We can make it sustainable. That's what they need to figure out. It might be, hey, not everything's so democratized. We have to approve things before it goes through. And sure, they're going to take a hit from the trenches, just being degenerate and trading things that they want, but it's going to save people money. And I think maybe help the reputation overall. So long-winded, but those are my thoughts right now on the bag situation.
Yeah, I'm with that. And guys, let us know, like, who should we be covering next? Who on Bags should we be covering next? We'll get them on the show. Go get in their replies. Say, hey, MCG Live is doing these shows to help people understand a little further, like, what the hell's going on here. Get the message out. And I mean, we're like $6-7 million on the stream. Let's pop up some.
I'll say this:
Bags.
The Bags bag workers are undeniable. Man.
Yo,
They're
you
good.
guys are crazy in the thing. Like, this is like,
yeah. So go get us Ralph, man. Ralph is I guess the big one we need. Gastown would have been cool, but now it's again, like the Gastown is an example. People thought something was really cool, but the guy didn't want to do anything with the token, and he just dipped. So he made a bunch of money and he dipped. How can we make it to where this guy gets support, but also the token holders are protected?
All right, Low Cap Hunter, you have a tweet here. Let me go try and find it.
He wanted us to play it during the interview. Unfortunately, Low Cap Hunter, these get sent into a chat we see
yeah,
through
we can't copy the thing out of it. Let's see if I can find.
Just get GSD in again tomorrow, guys. GSD interview number 2.
Okay, let's see. Welcome to the group. Okay, here's like another person.
And guys, here, you want to parlay this energy over. We get clips out. MCG, for those who are unfamiliar, MCG is a live show focused on internet capital markets and ICM, of course, powered by Meteora. So we thank them for helping us keep going. But Bags is built on top of Meteora's tech stack and technology. And so we're committed to highlighting all these projects and getting you guys that kind of alpha. So we have clips going out. We'll have the full interviews for each of these going out later today. You can share those. And yeah, there you go.
Bro, look at Ralph. Holy shit. That people thought this was done at 10 million. This thing is now candling 40. Dom, can you pull up a chart?
Yeah, and can we just talk about how I said this literally at the start of the stream, the life cycle I've been preaching here? Same thing that happened with Believe. You're going to have this dot-com bubble moment where so many people get excited about what's being built here and they just ape into anything. Bad actors leave with the money, and there's going to be a very small niche and group of people that are still sticking around and supporting. And that's when you have the bags go. That's when you have the GSDs go. You get rid of the peak monies. You get rid of the gas tokens. You get rid of the things that are not here to stay. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's a live chat, my boy. It's a live show.
Live chart is what he said, but
oh, here, I'll show you
the. Yeah, let's do live. Let's do some charting, guys. So we'll look at some tickers. If you want to drop some tickers in, like we do ticker segments as well. We're definitely a trader first show.
But yeah, this has rallied quite a bit. I would imagine the entire bags eco is seeing a resurgence right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up bags and we're just going to go through. We're going to see what's trending right now on the bags app and we'll cover those. So
yeah,
bear with. But that was a lot of fun conversations today.
Dude, I'm impressed.
Ralph is definitely a monster.
Yeah, guys, go tag Ralph. We tried to get what's his name? Do you remember what his name is?
No, I forgot. Ralph's.
We tried to get him on the show. Let me see if I can pull it up, but he wouldn't he didn't respond to our DMs. So go get in their replies. We'll have them on.
Oh yeah, Geoff. He's got a big Twitter, 80 something K followers. But let's see. So we'll do this by market cap. Yeah, 32 million. So GSD is number 2 right now in bags ecosystem. We're trying to get CMEM on from Cloud Memory. You know, a lot of these products, I'm not gonna say do the same thing, but they're very similar. They do the whole agent looping. So they basically they spin up something and they have a bunch of agents working together saying you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, you're right, to like spit out the fully correct and fleshed out answer, which I think is interesting. I would love to get Shaw on. Guys, what's the update on Elizatown? Elizatown's been getting a lot of traction, but I'm not sure has Shaw fully endorsed it. He was talking about it a little bit. He was talking about integrating the bags API into Elizatown to make it like an in-game currency. Not sure. We had Gru on today.
The wrong, you're right thing is important because what they call that is an adversarial neural network, which is basically like you have different agents or entities that are trying out different solutions and they're competing against each other for the final best solution. And this is kind of like a fundamental innovation in AI.
It is like, it's fascinating to think about. Like these AIs are iterating in real time.
So Liza, let's look at some of these. Let's pull up a CMEM and go down the list. Like we saw GSD. We just looked at
Ralph.
We just looked at Ralph. And guys, we're more like the ownership token guys. So like MetaDAO, Believe App, Store, etc. Not anymore Believe App. Yeah, not sans that. But man, I mean, this looks decent.
Yeah. So CMEM, I was actually looking at these the other day at 400K. Again, because of this thesis that we had the life cycle, ran up, pumped, everything went crazy, and things died off, and only the few survivors, if you do your research, you can find them, they'll revive. It's off a nice pump. I would say this is probably what's going to happen to a couple more too. How do we feel about, we had Gru on today, we had GSD obviously just now. Who did we have in between? I forget the tickers. Because it was at 90K.
Hippie or something? No.
Here, I can find it.
Huggy.
I can find it. Huggy. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Huggy. Now, I wonder if this gets a boost because he's still here. He said he's committed to working on. He's interested in these ownership. Yeah. So this is up. It popped a little bit. But Huggy's a pretty renowned dev. He made some mistakes. Do you think he's a good actor? Number one, he sounded pretty genuine on our conversation. I think ignorance is something we see. Guys, these guys have no idea what's happening in crypto. So they're very ignorant. Sure, they launch another token, but like they don't know the repercussions. They don't understand how this works. Same thing we saw in Believe. Like this is, again, just like PTSD here. But if he's still here committed, he builds cool stuff. He said he's going to make an ecosystem around the Huggy token. This is 100K. Not an endorsement, guys, by me. Just saying.
Definitely not an endorsement.
But like, I don't know. That seems like some risk.
I think you got to understand like who you're betting on. Again, you bet a lot of it is betting on teams or people. And he was getting a job at Hugging Face, which is like a leading AI dev shop. And now all of a sudden he's found himself into this kind of when your back is against the wall, right? Like he has to make this work, right? He's got to put food on his table. So he's motivated. He is locked in, is the vibe I got from this. He had products in the backlog that he was rebranding to the Huggy token. And all he has to do is show some sort of success, I think, is the next step. It's like, okay, now this 100K or whatever, it's based on his reputation, based on his background, but he has to show some success. What products are you bringing to market? What are you branding? Et cetera, et cetera. Can you generate revenue, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can generate money, then it goes from you living off your fees, from then living off your profits. And when you start living off profits of a real business, someone is willing to pay for your product or service, then you can say, look, I got excess products or profits. Maybe I put that back into the token, right? Maybe I acquire some of that token and increase my own position, because he locked 20 million tokens for 70,000 years, which in itself is a meme, to be honest. So that's my take on him.
Yeah. We got to watch out. So much of these are hype driven too. So like, even if he's got a ton of potential, even if he's a great developer, like doesn't have the hype. Yeah, I don't know. Got to watch it. It was interesting to have this conversation because clearly he made some ignorant mistakes. But again, like I can't fully blame the guy. He's never been in crypto. People are telling him what to do. He's getting money thrown at him. Like, so Huggy was definitely the cheapest one. It's one of these things, moon or dust, right?
Yeah,
it's at
think of it
100K,
a
so you
moon or
can throw
dust.
moon or
It's a
dust.
moon or
Yeah,
dust.
you can throw a small amount here, maybe it 10x's, maybe it goes to 0. What else? Let's go back to the bags here.
GRU was the other one.
Oh, you want to
Gru.
check out Gru?
Yeah, let's do GRU just because we had them on the channel.
Holy cow, it's up 155% in 24 hours, 29%, 30% in 4 hours. This chart, again, very similar to the CMEM chart in the sense that it had gotten this big pump, kind of came down, pretty significantly into the 300K territory, went sideways for a while, and now it's kind of coming back. So again, same life cycle that we've talked about now a few times. Remember, for Believe, what happened is we'll talk about Dupe, we'll talk about Buddy. What else was involved in this? We'll just talk about Dupe Buddy. It launched. Now, this is being sped up a little bit, but it launched. It kind of died for a while. For actually like a few days, if not weeks, I remember screaming, guys, these are so undervalued. And then this, it went from 1 million to 80 million the following week or two when people picked it up, right? So it's really not a matter. Sometimes being early can often feel like being wrong. So sometimes if you pick these things up, if you think they're genuinely undervalued, it's only a matter of time before people pick them up, right? So could that be the case?
StarCraft. This was an interesting one because the guy had built like a agent coding product that was like more like a game. So I actually thought that was kind of interesting.
It was very interesting. So yeah, same thing, exact same thing. This chart literally looks like the CMEM chart. Ripped up, reset. Obviously, all of the traders that were scared that got in late, they were selling, taking profit was happening up here. So of course, no surprise that it reset from 4.5 million. But now, do we have emotional sellers overselling this? And is this a good strike price, an opportunity for StarCraft? Again, when we have to look into more, I can't say yes or no right here, but I would say from a chart perspective, this is where I'd be interested in buying if it has value derived to the token and if it makes sense to do so. But this is, I am not the type of guy to be buying right here, right here, right here. Easy to say in hindsight. Josh knows us, so we have a treasury for MCG. I'm very fully in support of just buying support almost every time. Like, I like to buy support. I like to limit my downside. And I think downside here is limited to, even if it doesn't pick up for a while, the low 200s are probably as low as it would go, assuming it's not just a complete rug, right? So
do you want to acknowledge something real quick? Is I'm looking across my scanner here. I see MetaDAO Eco is running, Kled up a bunch. I mean, this is off like, getting slammed the other day, but like, it just feels the energy and liquidity is coming back into crypto.
Well, I got a tab over here too. Remember, we went from being down something 1-2% to now we're back up to 2%. It's that whipsaw we're seeing. So in part due to Solana's being up 4%. So anything Solana pegged is up 4% just by nature. And then, of course, just the market going up. Now, Kled, I will jump to Kled to break this up. This is an actual ownership token. This has equity backing to it. One of the most successful, highest, lots of chatter in Silicon Valley about Kled. This is like a real deal, very popular project for venture right now in Silicon Valley. Everyone in Silicon Valley wants a piece of this. And yeah, it got down. Actually, interestingly enough, Pasternak from Believe had a good piece of this. He sold here. One of his wallets is completely out now, so he sold down to 23 million. Again, Avi is going into a raise, aiming for I think 300 million, probably higher after that viral video that they posted. With every single major Silicon Valley company, we have A16Z. You have some of the guys from. The list goes on, whatever. And then you have angels that are interested in getting in this thing. It sold off to 23 million because Pasternak full clipped, quickly bounced off. I mean, already up 40% from that dip. So Cled's looking really good. I am excited to hear the announcement of who they raised from. I think people are just completely forgetting about that. But yeah, Cled's bouncing, Met's bouncing, Pump's bouncing, Dupe is bouncing a good bit. I'm looking at Karma's bouncing. Leon is bouncing from Ori, or is Leon Bags? Is Leon Bags? Here, we'll check out Leon. I think Leon's Bags. Am I right? Can I get some confirmation in the chat, boys? Again, Low Cap Hunter, we can't click on these, unfortunately, but if you go and send them in the comments of this tweet, we can go and check them out.
Replies on X, yeah.
Replies on X. Let's see, though. I'm not 100% sure if this is Ori or Bags, but here's Leon. I remember seeing this developer. He put a video out. He's definitely public facing. I think he's still talking about the token, fully endorsing it. Same thing. Life cycle, guys. I mean, it plays on repeat. Save this for the next time it happens because you'll see it. Don't top last. Just don't be the guy that top lasts unless you're getting it at 100, 200K. But yeah, so this one fully reset, came back down to 200K. It's now sitting at 440K. Could Leon be an opportunity here? Maybe. I did have something saved on Twitter. Let me go and see if I have it. We can watch it together. Leon.
I got this ISO City thing is this gives me SimCity vibes. SimCity 3000 vibes. Interesting.
Do we want to pull it up? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so Leon AI, I guess,
think,
is Bags.
I think it was a really super like micro cap, so it might be kind of low, but can you give us a TLDR low cap? When you throw tickers in, just give us a TLDR.
Yep. So we have under the hood, it's voice isolation, speaker's identification, automatic speech recognition, translation, zero-shot voice cloning. So this is a video translator, it seems. Let's see what Leon has to say. It's a 10-minute video. I'm going to speed it up a little bit and just watch a little bit to get the idea here for everyone because, like I said, we're in that phase where the projects have died. Now you can bet on specific ones to come back to life if you have conviction in the entire narrative. Either that or it just completely dies. But let's see if we can get an idea here.
I can't hear it. You gotta reshare. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I gotta reshare. I gotta figure this out too at some point.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing. All right, let's see.
It's your browser settings.
So, for example, if we prompt this message, like translate this video into French language and in 4080p, just for better, like faster download.
Could be something for MCG here.
Video.
We have a Chinese account.
Here.
When you hear the term artificial intelligence.
Yeah, so this is like a pretty simple video about artificial intelligence, right? So we can, query this. And what we can see here is like Leon.
So what he posted the link.
Download the video first.
This is really interesting. I saw people doing this for. Did you guys see that tweet?
And then after Leon take on like.
Did you guys see that tweet that went viral? How to fix your life in one day? I saw people doing this. I'm not sure if they used Leon or what they used, but they took they took the long text and translated it into a video format for people. And those did really well on Twitter.
A sequence of actions. So basically here, Leon grabbed the YT DLP tool that allows to download video from some remote server. So we can see here, Leon executed this command and understood like we want like the 4080p quality. Then after Leon used FFmpeg.
I mean, we don't need to go through all the technicals here. Let's just see the end result.
This is actually isolates issue. So this I will need to take a look.
Let's see. So it was a normal video on AI in English from Duke University, it seemed. Let's see what the result was.
The total duration. is with the video. So using FFmpeg and a filter like filter I had is from when you translate a video from one language to another, then of course we cannot expect the language to have the exact same length, right, when you speak. So here you can see the total duration is 139. So here at the end, we will keep like the total duration quite similar. But for every segment, Leon will align on the timing related to the total duration of the video. So in this way, Leon knows when to speed up the pitch of, speed the video.
Play the video. Play the video.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, maybe I missed it. Nonetheless, okay, it's a video translator. You know, it's cool. It's very niche. Again, we talked about getting down to niches quite a bit today. It's very niche. I don't know if it's investable here at 480K, quite to be quite honest with everyone, but I would need to look into it more. Does he have value drive to the token? Is he, just more curious on that stuff, but it's cool, very niche tech. Josh, you had some requests you wanted to check out?
Yeah, I'm just looking at what low cap hunter is DMing me. Like I see this Miliki guy, he's building like a Sim City thing. I don't know why this is valuable though. That's the problem. Like what Sim City 3000 was already made years ago. I played it. By the way, I called GSD at 67K market cap on my public timeline. Did you hold that? Because that's crazy upside.
Dude, I'm seeing some insane entries on some of these bags coins. That's insane though, 67K.
I'm just trying to I don't really know what I'm looking at here with this. Micro gaming will be a thing. Maybe micro gaming will be a thing.
What's this?
Oh, one of the
Upward
top
Earth,
holders. Congrats to you, man. That's awesome. Good
Absolutely,
trade.
man. Love to see it. Upward Spiral here. This is one I looked into the other day. I think if I remember correctly, he did not endorse it, but it's still at 1.26 market cap. Wow. Let me see. Let's give it a quick look. AI and humans can evolve together. Yeah, they have one post, I believe. May the spiral never flatten. Yeah, that's all I got on here. Who is the dev? Who was a dev, man? I looked into this a little bit the other day. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. If you ever want to find the developer, just go to the followers or who they're following and look for who they tag in their bio. It's the best way to do it. There it goes. Oh, it's Andy Ares. This is Andy Ares' new project. Okay, so he has definitely not endorsed this then. So obviously, Andy Ares is known for the infinite backrooms. He did very good with Goat. And his new project is Upward Spiral, which it seems that there's been a bags token created for Spiral, although it's not.
There's already a token for this. I remember looking at this back when we started the stream, actually.
Well, it's a bags token someone created for him, not endorsed by Andy.
No, right. And I guess what they're thinking or what they're hoping is that he comes along and claims it as the one, right?
Yeah, that definitely. That'd be huge. Obviously, past projects he was involved in went to billions of dollars, right? I think Goat Fartcoin basically spawned out of the back rooms. Andy was like a big part of both of those. So, yeah. I would say, though, generally, probably here. Let's look at the chart. Spiral. Upward Spiral is the ticker. Or Loria. There we go. See how this is looking. This should be giving you a gauge of how willing people are to bid before stuff is actually endorsed based on the founder specifically. So how much pool does the founder have rather than just the product? No, the chart looks great, actually. I'm not going to lie. Holy cow. When did this launch, though? This must have launched on bags. Oh, yeah, 162 days ago. Not from Andy, though. I also... Can we see... Let's see. Who is the person that created it? So created by Trader Bury, royalties to... Okay, 88K in royalty earnings to Upward Earth. Unclaimed, I think. So... Look, I can see why people want to build this. If it gets adopted, I mean, if this gets adopted by Andy, of course, it goes 100x from here, right? Not financial advice, but likely goes 100x from here. So I see the bet, but it's like 0% chance he adopts it, pretty much, right? So unless someone's going to give me some lore and like link the deployer wallet somehow back to his wallet and like it's some grand plan, but unless there's that, I don't see this doing much. But it is at 1.2 mil, which is pretty crazy. It's one of the top bags tokens at the moment. Let's see. Big comment here from Slim Shady. Omega Quest is a project that explodes how artificial intelligence AI can accelerate human learning process. It is built around the Humanity Last Exam dataset created by the Center for AI Safety. This dataset consists of more than 2,500 expert-level reasoning problems. The project documents how AI can assist humans solving these problems and present them on its website, along with 28 solution videos available on the YouTube playlist. Okay, and the ticker is Omega, OMEGA. Let's see. It is up 58% on the day, sitting at 141K market cap. So it definitely is a micro cap. Do you understand what Slim Shady said here? Explores how artificial intelligence can accelerate the learning process.
So that chart doesn't look so bad either, though.
No, this chart looks. This is an example of a chart I would actually probably bid. Maybe down here more by support, but it's at 141K market cap. If it checks out, if it's good, could be biddable here. Like it's not off the pump like back here, right? So biddable chart. The question is, I don't understand it enough to make a decision, but I will read this again by Slim Shady. Omega Quest is a project that explores how artificial intelligence can accelerate human learning process. Okay, so how can AI help me learn quicker? It is built around the Humanity's Last Exam dataset created by the Center for AI Safety. Okay, so it's built on a dataset created by the Center of AI Safety. This dataset consists of more than 2,500 expert-level reasoning problems. The project documented how AI can assist humans in solving these problems and represent them on a website. So it's humans solving problems and represents them on the website. Yeah. I don't know. How does the token drive value? Do they know about the token? Andy did claim the fees already of the Spiral app. Interesting. Although
did he? Is that on X anywhere? Is that confirmed?
Okay, so if Andy claimed the fees, clearly he's aware of it, which is interesting. Does not mean he'll ever endorse it, right? If someone made me a token that I didn't ask for, there's a bunch of fees for it. I'm probably, even if I don't want the token, I'm probably claiming those fees, to be honest, right? What's up, Pepe? Good to see you back, man. Shout out Pepe on YouTube here. What's up, y'all? I have a good feeling about GSD. We'll do a REL 50 million plus. Dev is based. Yeah, man, we had a great conversation. Still curious to know how I would like to see him think more about token implementation, truly. Although he seems open to it.
Check the mark. It's bright green, means claimed. In reference to 8 million GSD. Jesus Christ.
Jeez Louise. What's going on? Oh, the green checkmark is claimed. Okay. PPW, we still need to get them on. I've had an open conversation with them for a while now. Gollum, I know this guy was like a small developer. By the way, I did so good. Small back in the day was an NFT project on Arbitrum. I had a couple sets of those.
Small brains or whatever.
Small brains, yeah.
Yeah.
Had a couple sets of those, which I round trip multiple 6 figures on, but it happens. I'm sure we're all in the same boat there. So I am familiar with this guy. He's part of the treasure team or something. He has fully endorsed this. I know those guys are cracked. I just have like kind of a sour taste in my mouth from some Arbitrum projects and treasure projects. I didn't really. Also, like, why is he working on another project outside of? I don't know. Questions I need answered. It's not fun.
Arbitrum's kind of cooked.
Arbitrum's cooked, and treasures, I guess, on Arbitrum. But Eliza Town is Shaw's project, of course. He's been talking about this. I'm surprised this one's only at 1.12 million. If he's endorsing it and trying to use it, I'm surprised it's not a little higher. Of course, you have the Shaw reputation, which is a little bit, rough, sticky. But let's see the chart. again, one I have to look more into, but if he's like fully endorsing it, implementing the API, making this a community thing, if Shaw's going to run it back up, man, I guess Shaw will run it up. So again, back at a good level. These are all at pretty interesting levels. That's one thing I'd say about bags now, guys. Now is the time to do your due diligence because the charts are pretty good on these. But Low Cap Hunter is bull posting generational plays on his timeline. All right, guys, if you want to go by, it sounds like Low Cap Hunter is probably throwing about 100 out on the timeline per day at like 6K, and maybe a few of them are hitting. If you guys are interested in that, go ahead and follow Low Cap
He's
Hunter.
calling the 10K runners, apparently. I mean,
but that's awesome, man.
That's a spray. That's a spray and pray. I mean, that's just like buying any deployer, you buy a little bit of all of them, and then, you know, see what works.
AutoMem is where dev endorses their AutoMem is where a dev endorses their project and hasn't gotten transactions. It's a 50M. It's a 50M. What do you mean it hasn't gotten any
50K.
traction? It's at 50K. Okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound right. AutoMem, I guess I'll pull it up just because you're a friend of the show here. But 50K, now we're starting to dip into territory that
Yeah, we
MTG
don't
really.
we don't like these sub 100, really sub 500, but because Meteora is really pushing bags here, we're kind of digging in.
Well, no.
It's hot. Let's be real. When MetaDAO was hot, we were the first to call MetaDAO, and now here we are looking at this.
So yeah, this went up to 300 something K. So there was some traction and actually had some resets. So there is some traction here. Currently at 59K. What's the TLDR on this? You said a dev endorsed our project but hasn't got any traction. Okay, I could endorse a project if I'm a fucking retard. It doesn't mean anything, right? So what is the project?
Go back to GST. What is going on?
Is it really at 9 mil? We got to get those clips out. Maybe we start hitting our clipper to start working on GST. Hey,
All right,
listens to this, my guy.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, so GSD priority 1 for today, I guess. But come on, load, Moby. All right. Oh, as soon as it loaded, I reset it. But yeah, bags is hot. I would say probably right now is a great time to be in the trenches waiting for some deploys because it seems that they're coming. Yeah, look at that 9 million market cap on GST here. Crazy. Well, if you bought on the stream, you're looking pretty good. Okay,
that's a 2x
memory layer for
2x on stream. It was at 4 million, 4 or 5 million when he hopped on. So
love to see it, baby. Love to see it. Josh, I'm pretty much good. I think we've kind of gone through a lot of the tokens. We don't know much about the ones that we didn't have on stream today, so
yeah, guys, hey, hit the replies of projects you want to hear from. We'll have them on stream. We'll set up chats tomorrow, Friday, even early next week. Let us know, but please tag us so we can see it. Likewise, follow MCG. We stream Monday to Friday, mostly ownership tokens, but also stuff like this, which could become ownership tokens in the future, which are some of these bags plays. So yeah, with that, I think
call it. All right, boys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Awesome. See you guys.